Less than 24 hours after Winter Storm Zeus blanketed Minnesota with more snow, the Twins are set to play their second game of the day against the Miami Marlins. Mike Pelfrey will take them on for Minnesota against another right-hander, Ricky Nolasco of the Marlins. Twins took the first game of the day 4-3 behind some timely hitting from leadoff man Brian Dozier and Oswaldo Arcia, who connected on his first major league home run, a 3-run shot that proved to be the difference. Another cool night expected with temperatures dipping down into the upper 20s, but the weather has had no effect whatsoever on the Twins' hot bats.
No, they've been swinging the bat very, very well, Tom. And to prove it, they have a couple of young players in their lineup that have been doing the job today. The two hitting stars from the first game, Brian Dozier, not used to hitting in the leadoff spot, but now becomes a viable option. He was 3 for 4 today with the run scored and a stolen base. So he had a very nice game offensively for the Minnesota Twins. But the big star, the young kid, Oswaldo Arcia, hits his first Major League home run up into the plaza to give the Twins the go-ahead runs. He was the hitting star in our first game today. Hopefully, as he moves up into the third spot, continues to be that hitting star, Tom.
Twins will attempt to sweep this one-day, 2-game series against the Marlins with another win tonight. Dick and Bert will set up the nightcap. Twins and Marlins next.
Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards.
A cool, crisp night for baseball, and the Twins hope to make it a doubleheader sweep over the Miami Marlins. And with a win tonight, given Kansas City and Detroit's postponement, the Twins could climb into a first-place tie in the American League Central. We welcome you to Target Field. We hope the Twins can extend their winning streak to 6 games in a row. The Twins hope to make it a doubleheader sweep. Their chance is pretty good as long as Mike Pelfrey can do what Kevin Correa did this afternoon.
Well, you know what? They always say good hitting kind of feeds off of each other. Well, sometimes good starting pitching feeds off of each other. Kevin Correa winning his second game. Of course, he won game 1. 7 very good innings. The job here in the evening game for Mike Pelfrey, do what Correa did. Attack the strike zone. Put the ball in play. He's not a strikeout pitcher. He needs to go about his business. Trust his defense. And when he does get into that stretch position, work a little bit quicker than we've seen from Mike Pelfrey. Hopefully tonight he'll be on. He has not pitched but 6 innings yet. Hopefully he can go 6 or 7 innings here in the nightcap.
Twins hope that Pelfrey can pitch the Twins to a win over the Marlins. An off day tomorrow that might find the Twins at the top of the American League Central.
And the Twins on April 23rd will try to play 2 games. Looks like they'll get that done. They only played 3 games all last week. And it's a winning streak that's lasted about a week and a half. It was extended this afternoon over Mike Redmond and the Miami Marlins. Redmond in his first year managing the Marlins, just 4 wins in 20 games. And here's Redmond's Menard's batting order for the series and doubleheader finale. Chris Coughlin, former Rookie of the Year in the National League, leading things off. Placido Polanco, Giancarlo Stanton, Greg Dobbs, Justin Ruggiano, Rob Brantley, Chris Valleca, Joe Mahoney, and Donovan Solano.
And in game 2, it'll be Mike Pelfrey making a start, his 4th start of the year. And this is his 18th career start against the Marlins. Actually, when he first came up with the Mets back in 2006, his first major league start was against the Marlins. He won that ball game 17-3. So hopefully he'll get that run support here this in game 2.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. A different lineup with Oswaldo Arcia The hitting hero in game one in left field for Josh Willingham. Aaron Hicks in center, Chris Parmalee in right. Jamie Carroll, Eduardo Escobar left side of the infield, Dozier Morneau the right side, Ryan Doma doing the catching, and Joe Mauer the designated hitter. Lance Barksdale has the plate. DJ Rayburn, Vic Terrapazza, and David Rackley are the base umps. And clear skies, 40 degrees right now. They're getting ready to play the nightcap at Coors Field. They played the day game in 23-degree temperature, so logic would
warmed up.
Logic would tell me they may be playing in the teens at Coors Field. Pelfrey's first pitch to Coughlin. In the dirt, ball one. Pelfrey has a couple of wins this year, and as we said in our pregame show, one of the encouraging things during this 5-game winning streak is the wins are coming to the starting staff. And a strike 1-1. It's nice to win 5 in any event, but when your relievers are picking up the wins, that tends to suggest something's wrong at the front of the game.
Yeah, starters are going deep into the ball game. We just saw Correa go 7 innings. In Pelfrey's last start, he went 5 innings.
Escobar slams on the brakes in the outfield grass, one away.
And those 5 innings against the Angels here at Target Field.
So a quick first out for Pelfrey, and now he'll go after Polanco. Polanco off to a decent start in his first year with the Marlins. Saw him many years when he was with the Tigers, and then went to the Phillies, and now takes outside ball one.
Yeah, veteran of 16 major league seasons. Polanco came up with the Cardinals, Phillies, Tigers, back to the Phillies the last 3 seasons, now with the Marlins.
1-1.
Always a good hitter, contact type hitter, doesn't walk much, doesn't strike out much. He's won 3 Gold Gloves over his career, 2 at second base, 1 at third base. And there's Mike Redmond in the background, hoping that his club can put a winning streak together.
Drilled to center. Sharp hit for Polanco. And a 1-out base hit. Puts a man aboard for Giancarlo Stanton, who's about the only significant hitter left in the middle of their lineup from a year ago.
Well, Stanton has been struggling, but you can see where they rank in Major League Baseball, last in all those categories. Only 46 runs scored in their first 20 games.
Can't trade the likes of Reyes, Hanley Ramirez, guys like that without a significant drop-off in offense. Here's Stanton, had a tough game at the plate, and a painful one as it turned out. He was, in his last plate appearance, hit on the wrist by a Jared Burton pitch. Pelfrey falls behind again, 1-0. He's fallen behind all 3 batters so far. 2-0.
Well, top of this inning, starting like it did in game 1. Pierre and out, then Polanco got a base hit, and then Stanton hit into a double play on the next pitch from Kevin Correa. See if Stanton can hit into a double play here.
Foul back. The base hit by Polanco, the 21st hit allowed in 12 2/3 innings for Mike Pelfrey. He hasn't given up a home run. He hasn't walked a bunch of people. He's just given up a whole cluster of hits. Opponents hitting .357 coming into the game.
I think the biggest thing for Mike Pelfrey coming off that Tommy John this season, Dick, is he's not going to have the velocity. It's going to take time, I think, to get that velocity back to the 93 to 95 he had before he had the Tommy John. So he really has to hit his spots.
Pelfrey's ERA a bit skewed. He had that 5-run first inning in Kansas City a couple of starts ago. He'd like to have a scoreless first inning here tonight. 3-1. And it's ball 4. A rough start with runners at first and second. Nobody, or 1 out here in the first inning.
Yeah, for Pelfrey, now 12 2/3 innings. That's his 5th walk. To go along with 4 strikeouts. And that's what you kind of look at. You know, strikeouts to innings pitched, walks to innings pitched. But when he's on, he'll get some ground ball outs.
Greg Dobbs, the batter. Dobbs, the designated hitter as he was in game 1.
Yeah, Dobbs in his 3rd season with the Marlins, 10th major league season overall. Twins saw a little about him, or saw him when he was with the Mariners back in 2004-06.
Breaking ball, missing ball 1. Dozen pitches, 5 strikes for Pelfrey. After the game today, Ron Gardenhire talked of Correa and his success in 4 really good, very solid starts. 1-0 here to Dobbs. This is what he does so effectively, and it's worth mentioning now, since Pelfrey's struggling with this, is he gets ahead of hitters. And you get a hitter in a defensive mode because the count's 0-1 or 1-2, and that's been one of Pelfrey's problems this year. Getting ahead of the hitters, and he falls behind the cleanup hitter 2-0.
And that usually means, I mean, if you're having trouble with your breaking ball, that hitter's going to sit on one pitch, and that being the fastball.
Pelfrey's having a hard time throwing strikes. And he's in danger of filling the bases. Justin Ruggiano's on deck.
There we go. Find a way.
Highlight: Dobbs may have the green light right here.
Three and 0. There's a strike. The game really slows down for Pelfrey, and for that matter everybody else, his teammates, the viewers, when men are on base. And now there are 2 men on base. He takes more time. The hitters tend to take more time. It's just a completely different game than when the bases are empty.
Well, one thing I know Rick Anderson is trying to get him to do is work a little bit quicker, better tempo.
Lace to right field, charged by Parmalee. And the bases will be loaded now with 2 hits and a walk in the 1st inning.
There's a great example right there. He fell behind 3-0, and then Dobbs took a fastball. So what do you have to do? You have to come back with another fastball, and Dobbs was sitting all over it. A line drive base hit, loads of bases with 1 out.
So Ruggiano comes up, and Pelfrey needs to make maybe just 1 really good pitch here, see if he can get a ground ball double play, get his team off the field.
Ruggiano leading the club in home runs for the Marlins. He also is leading in runs batted in with 9.
From the stretch with the bases loaded. And first pitch strike. First time he's gotten ahead of a batter. Strike 1.
Not a bad situation right here to work out of the stretch, Dick, with 1 out. You know, you keep those runners, especially the runner at second and first, a little bit closer. Maybe a ground ball might turn a double play.
A little low, 1-1.
You know, if you work out of the windup, then that guy at second base can take a big lead. Even the guy at first can take a bigger lead and maybe break up a double play.
First inning mess. We'll see if Pelfrey can pitch out of it. Swing and a miss at a 91-mile-per-hour fastball.
This is where you would like to be able to say, okay, I need a strikeout here. But again, Pelfrey with only 4 strikeouts in 13 innings pitched. See if you can get that big strikeout here early.
1-2. Missed, and the count is even at 2-2.
Already 20 pitches, only 9 strikes for Mike Pelfrey.
2-2. Pelfrey with a couple of wins, but shorter than hoped for starts in each case. And the one really short start against the Kansas City Royals. That was the loss. Inside, nearly hit him, and it's a full count.
Well, one thing Pelfrey has had, you can see the movement on that two-seamer inner half of the plate. He's had very good run support. In his opening assignment here against the Tigers, he won 8-2. Then he lost 7-4, but his last outing against the Angels, he won 8-6.
Full count with the bases full and one out in the first. That might be better than a strikeout.
There we go.
One.
Turn it.
Safe at first, and a run will score. Escobar underhanded it to Dozier, and the relay not quite in time, and it's 1-0 Miami.
Well, credit the base runner to hustling down that line and staying out of the double play. Take a look at right here, the ball. Boy, I don't know if you could turn a double play any quicker than the Twins tried to right there.
Bang, bang. So a run in, runners on the corners, 2 out, and Brantley the batter. Drilled to right center field. This has got some carry, and it's hard off the wall. 2 runs are going to score, and it's 3-0. That ball was crushed. And another unsightly first inning for Mike Pelfrey.
What they like about Brantley with the Miami Marlins is his bat. He's still trying to learn how to catch on a regular basis, but that fastball right there, good extension. You can see the location. And Brantley knocking in a couple runs, and here the Marlins take a early 3-0 lead.
And Ruggiano just barely beating out that double play grounder has led to not 1 run, but at least 3.
A quick trip to the mound by pitching coach Rick Anderson.
You've seen Rick Anderson moving his hand from side to side, and we talked about it this afternoon in the St. Paul paper today. There was a nice article written about Pelfrey's problems and how it's Rick Anderson's observation, and it's been yours too, that Pelfrey's worked the inside part of the plate too much, and so when he throws a pitch that doesn't cover the outside part of the plate, it gets hit hard.
You have to work both sides of the plate. The strength for a right-handed pitcher against a right-handed hitter or a left-hander is usually down and away. And he's trying to pitch in, and hitters open up, and they're going to look inside and hit it hard somewhere.
This one lifted to left, looks harmless enough with Arcia retreating. That ends the first inning. Another good trip to the mound by Rick Anderson. the ball game this afternoon. The Twins scored first in the bottom of the first. Ron Gardenhire's batting order for the finale of this little 2-game series. Brought to you by Menards. Brian Dozier, who tripled to start the ball game off for the Twins, will lead off again. Joe Mauer, the designated hitter. Oswaldo Arcia cranked a big 3-run home run for the Twins. He'll hit third. Justin Morneau, Ryan Doman, Chris Parmelee in the middle. Eduardo Escobar, Aaron Hicks, Jamie Carroll, the bottom third.
And it's Ricky Nolasco on the mound making his 5th start. He was scheduled to start game 1, but things changed, and now Nolasco is starting the nightcap here. He's kind of the ace. He was the opening day starter for the Marlins this year. His second opening day assignment. A guy that has been with the Marlins for 8 seasons now.
Here's Dozier, who took a first pitch fastball this afternoon and then hit the second fastball he saw to the gap in left center field for a triple. This one skied to center field, and retreating is Ruggiano. 1 down. The Northland Ford defense for the Miami Marlins. Conklin, Ruggiano, Stanton, the outfielders. Polanco, Malenka, Solano, Mahoney, the infielders. And Brantley, who delivers the big 2-run double, does the catching.
Nolasco making his first career start against the Minnesota Twins. 30 years old.
Joe Mauer, who had a 10-game hitting streak, now a couple of hitless games, but a few walks mixed in, including one this afternoon, and he takes strike 1. Grounded to first, and into the palm of the glove of Joe Mahoney, 2 away.
Well, you already see the difference between the starters right there. Pelfrey, 25 pitches needed, and here Nolasco has thrown 4 pitches.
All strikes.
2 outs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's Oswaldo Arcia. As soon as the Marlins took a 2-1 lead this afternoon, 3 pitches later, Arcia found himself up with 2 men on. Everybody jumped on the first pitch. Delivered a single, starting with Parmelee, and then Arcia got a changeup and sent it out past the flagpoles. Ball 1. For the Twins, their 10th home run of the year. They've allowed 10. This one hooked into the corner. 1-1.
That looked like a changeup right there at 78 miles an hour. And let's go back to game 1. Yep. Arcia, a changeup, got underneath it and hit it a long way for that big 3-run home run in the 4th inning.
Breaking ball hit hard and foul. 1-2. Arcia will see plenty of that, you would think. Big, powerful hitter. And I'm sure teams will approach him like they do most new players. Spin the ball up there once he starts having an impact and having some better at bats, and connects with a few fastballs. 1-2. Ooh, just off the corner, close pitch. 2-2.
Nolasco not overpowering. He'll throw between 88 and 92 miles an hour. 2 types of curveballs. He's got a little split finger.
Chip shot to left, hit right at Conklin. And Nolasco has a quick 1-2-3 first inning, and the Marlins have a 3-0 lead.
Twins trailing 3-0 here at Target Field as we head into the second inning. Well, Mike Pelfrey is still looking for his quality start, but another thing that Twins would sure like to see from him is for him to pick up his pace when he's pitching. If you pay attention, he takes about 20 to 25 seconds between pitches, and that has the Twins a little concerned because they want to keep the action going and keep defensive players on their toes. Dick and Bert.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. I think we've touched on that over the last couple starts for Mike Pelfrey. You know, he seems like right now he's picking up his pace a little bit in the windup. It's sometimes when he gets into that stretch position that everything slows down.
1-1. And a line drive hit hard to center field. And Mahoney's aboard with a leadoff single.
Mahoney picked up a couple hits in that first game, also picked up the 2 runs batted in for the Marlins in game 1.
Donovan Solano will hit, and the Marlins have 4 hits and a walk from their first 8 plate appearances. You know, it was a year ago, and the Twins were getting their first real look, regular season look at Jason Marquis. And the feeling was that Marquis was like Pelfrey, pitcher who took way too much time out there, and the numbers were similar with Jason Marquis. He ended up pitching pretty well for the Padres, but you know, the Twins' mantra is through the minor leagues: work fast, throw strikes, and probably every organization says that.
You have certain pitchers, and I don't know how he was in New York if he took so much time between pitches, but you know, in the Twins' way is like, you know, keep your defense on their toes rather than their heels. And how do you do that? Throw strikes, be aggressive, trust your defense, let them hit the ball, hopefully at somebody. Sounds simple, but some guys just want to slow everything down.
Or just watch this afternoon's game. That's exactly what Kevin Correa did. Fouled back, and it's 1-2.
Pelfrey, of course, and we should mention that, had the Tommy John on May 1st last year, so he's less than a year from that major surgery. Signed a 1-year contract with the Twins over the winter after spending 7 seasons with the Mets.
Off-speed pitch missing, 2-2.
Good size at 6'7", Pelfrey is, about 250 pounds.
Two and 2. Bouncer to third, foul. Of course, some of these Marlin hitters, likes of Polanco, Stanton, Coughlin, they've had plenty of experience with Pelfrey on all of his years in the National League. Tried a breaking pitch and just missed the outside corner. Now the count's full. Nobody out. We'll keep an eye on Mahoney and see if he takes off here.
Good fastball away, just missing that corner. You can see Doman kind of holding it for a second.
35th pitch of the night for Pelfrey. Runner stays put, and the pitch fouled back.
Solano, there's Mike Redmond right there. Solano in his 2nd season with the Marlins.
Runner goes this time, and the pitch line to hole, through the hole to left, a base hit, and Mahoney will hold at second base. So first time through the order, and the Marlins have 5 hits and a walk.
Yeah, last 3 starts for the Twins starters. You look at Vance Worley Saturday against White Sox. Very good, 7 innings, That was a 2-1 10-inning win for the Twins. Then on the next day, Scott Diamond, a very solid start, and only his second start of the year. That coming a couple days ago. And then here in game one, Kevin Correa, 7 very good innings. You want to try to keep it going, but Pelfrey right now struggling a little bit.
There's Conklin, hit a pop-up to short left field, fielded by Escobar. Anthony, strike one. Conklin, as we mentioned, former National League Rookie of the Year. He bounced around. He'd been hurt a little bit the last few years.
Yeah, last year, he had some injuries. Played at only 39 ball games. Hit only 140.
Inside with a fastball. Base hit to right field. Mahoney to third. They'll put up the stop sign, and they're loaded up with nobody out. And the second inning starts with 3 singles. It's kind of what we saw against the Royals, where the Royals collected a whole bunch of hits and 5 early runs against Pelfrey. Was only able to complete 2 innings, but he gave up 6 earned runs, 5 in the first inning, and 8 hits.
I think you're going to see some guys out in that bullpen start to loosen up here.
So Polanco, who started the 3-run first with a sharp single to center, comes up with the bases loaded, nobody out. Infield playing back up the middle, in at the corners. Fouled away, 1 strike. Hernandez, who has been listed as a starter here Saturday against the Rangers, warming up in the Twins bullpen. Off the plate, 1-1. .41 pitches, 23 strikes, but already 6 hits allowed for Mike Pelfrey. Fouled away, 1-2, and again, in a situation where you'd like to be able to pick up a strikeout, Pelfrey just doesn't seem to have a strikeout pitch.
All right, he's facing a guy right now, Polanco. He does not strike out that often. Usually puts the ball in play.
One infamous strikeout against the Twins, that in game 163. I think it was Bobby Keppel, of all people, struck him out before the Twins won that ball game at the Dome.
I ran into Bobby Keppel in Japan. He's pitching in Japan.
Fouled away. He went there, I believe, right after that regular season. Keppel was the winning pitcher in game 163. I hate to describe an at-bat in the second inning as a make-or-break at-bat, but already ahead 3-0, and the Marlins have a chance here to really do some more damage. 1-2 from Pelfrey to Polanco. Just off the corner.
All right, tried the slider right there and just missed the outer half of the plate. You know, like a little cutter.
It was outside. You agree?
I agree. That was outside.
Okay. Two and two to Polanco. There's a strikeout. One away.
It looked like he took something off of that pitch right there at 86 miles an hour. And Pelfrey picking up a big strikeout. Straight over the top, good downward plane, good pitch.
And now Stanton, who is strikeout prone, at least he has been this year. A couple more strikeouts today. 22 on the season. Pelfrey walked him in the first. Fouled away. Now we're talking 22 strikeouts in just 14 games. He missed a week. Hurt his shoulder earlier this season, his left shoulder. Some of his swings this afternoon look very much like a hitter who's only got one healthy arm. Very talented young player. Marlins are trying to sell their fan base with the notion that he's the nucleus of the next rebuilding phase. Check swing. Did he go?
Well, does that mean they're going to trade him?
Let's put it this way. I'm guessing they will listen to all offers.
Stanton only 23 years old already in his 4th season. He held up right there.
Good call by DJ Rayborn. It appeared. Now that was a 91 mile per hour fastball, but Stanton looked like he was late.
Yeah, I can't imagine. You know, you try to hit at this level against a 91 mile an hour fastball. If you're not, 100%, it's tough to get that batter out.
Yeah, he's leading the Marlins in strikeouts by quite a bunch. 22 and 51 at bats. Bouncer to third. Out at second, relay to first. And in time, another run will score. So the Twins narrowly missed turning a double play in the first inning, and another ground ball fielded a deep third.
Yeah.
A tough double play to turn.
Yeah, tough double play right there. Jamie Carroll had to go back to his right and then make a strong throw over to Dozier, but Stanton beat it out. He picks up an RBI, just his 2nd of the year, and it's a 4-0 Marlins lead.
Now Dobbs, who singled last inning, and what really hurt Pelfrey and the Twins in the first inning, right after the double play was not turned in the first, Brantley crushed the next pitch for a 2-run double. Now he's pitching to the leadoff batter for the 2nd time in as many innings, or for the cleanup batter. Nice dig by Doman. Ball 1.
Not a very good strike to ball ratio. Remember we showed, I believe it was Correa, that he had 75 or like 60 pitches and 40 were strikes, 20 were balls. Great ball to strike ratio.
1-0 to Dobbs. Two and 0. Foul, and it's 2-1.
Well, the game's about 35 minutes long, and I guarantee you the defense has been out on that field for the Twins about 30 of the 35 minutes.
Middle infielders feel it, outfielders feel it. Carroll trying to keep his glove hand warm. It's 4-0. Another big at bat here in the 2nd inning. 2-1 to Dobbs. Another nice dig by Doman. Keeping the runner at third, but also keeping the runner at first. A couple of nice blocks by the Twins catcher, but now the count runs to 3-1.
Yeah, watch Doman right here. He's expecting that ball. You can see it sink on the plate, and that's always the toughest for any catcher because it skips. Ryan did a good job of keeping the ball in front of him.
Foul back, and it's 3-2. Pulled the string on him a little bit.
I remember in that first inning, he fell behind on Dobbs 3-0, went with a fastball 3-1, and then the fastball, and Dobbs hit it sharply in the right field.
Morneau will play off the bag at first with the left-hand batter up. Pitch. And that takes care of Billman's mask. He's had a workout already, and we're just in the top of the second inning.
Well, this is usually Mike Redmond that got those right there.
Right off the forehead.
Yep. Look at that. Ouch.
Remember Redmond when he would catch it. Hang with him.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't have to go through that anymore.
Where Redmond had to flinch, receiving every pitch, not foul tips, every pitch. He ducked and exposed the very top of his helmet. Runner goes, popped up. Carroll coming in on the infield grass. Takes care of it. Another run for the Marlins. They've picked up a bunch of hits. They lead it 4-0, but Justin Morneau will lead off the Twins second. And Justin Morneau will lead off the second with the Twins down 4-0. First pitch covers the plate, strike one. 10 pitches for Nolasco, 8 strikes, and I think 4 first pitch strikes to the 4 batters. A towering fly ball to right. Stanton gloves it, 1 away. So 3 fly ball outs and a ground ball out. Morneau quickly retired. That's kind of been the theme for Nolasco. All the outs have been recorded in 2 or 3 pitches.
Yeah, Nolasco making his 200th major league appearance. 184 of those are starts now. 76 major league wins, 66 losses.
Catcher Ryan Doman. Strike one. 1-1. No activity in the Twins pen. It appears that Pelfrey will be given an opportunity in the third to put up a 0. Inside 2-1. You mentioned the opening day starter for the Marlins this year, his second opening day start, but almost by default given the purge of the payroll and the roster in the offseason. Another fly ball, another tall one into short center. Ruggiano coming in. 2 away.
Well, they lost Burley, they lost Johnson, to the Toronto Blue Jays, but this guy right now is kind of the veteran on this staff for the Marlins. Came up in 2006. Guy that, if he stays healthy, will pitch right around 220 innings.
Here's Parmalee. Parmalee with a base hit this afternoon and a run scored. Actually started the 3-run inning for the Twins. And an off-speed pitch over for strike 1. And Nolasco doesn't stray from the rubber at all. I mean, he first time I've seen him pitch in person, and he just gets the ball back from the catcher. He's already standing on the rubber. Strike 2.
Well, a big breaking ball right there to get ahead in the count. See, however, he already knows what he wants to do right here. Now he just has to get his sign from the catcher, make sure they're on the same page. He agrees.
In the dirt, Parmalee checks 1-2. Twins don't have anybody in double digits and runs batted in. The lineup really hasn't clicked yet. We've discussed that at length on television, but they do have their runs batted in spread out up and down the lineup, even with Willingham out of the lineup. Parmalee with 5 so far. 2-2. In the background, Pelfrey in the foreground. Just off the corner. He nearly spun one for strike 3. Full count with Escobar on deck. Fouled over the Marlins dugout. Parmalee drilled in the elbow Saturday in Chicago, sat out Sunday. Of course, the weathered out day off yesterday. Back ready to play both ends of a doubleheader today. Another 3-2. Another foul ball.
Nolasco originally signed by the Cubs in 2001. Traded over to the Marlins in 2005 for now outfielder back with them, Juan Pierre.
Half swing and a foul. I think Parmalee's seen almost as many pitches in his at bat as the first 5 at bats combined.
And on a 3-2 pitch, I'd be surprised if Nolasco's trying to fool him right here. Just put the ball in play. He's got a 4-run lead. Last 3 3-2 pitches have been fastballs that Parmalee has fouled off.
Breaking ball heading back over our heads.
A lot of things over our heads.
So by my count, pitch number 10 in this at bat. Drilled to center. Ruggiano hardly has to move. Good at bat for Parmalee. He stunned it for the 3rd out. It's 4-0 Miami. Sports North is presented by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Grand Casino, the best stories start here. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And Mike Pelfrey delivers ball one to Justin Ruggiano. Ruggiano beat out the potential double play grounder that opened the door for a 3-run first inning. Swing and a miss, 1-1. It'll be Ruggiano, Brantley, and Valleca. Off the handle of the bat, foul over the Twins dugout, 1-2.
Well, for Pelfrey, this is his 157th major league start.
Hasn't had much luck against the Marlins, though, has he?
No, he has not.
Or maybe just be more blunt and say he hasn't pitched very well against them. Luck might not have anything to do with it. 2-2.
I mentioned he beat the Marlins in his major league debut, but it's been downhill ever since over his career. Now this is his 7th or 18th major league start against the Marlins. He is 1-8 lifetime against the Marlins.
Lifted to right, and drifting back is Parmalee for the catch, 1 away. More injury news in baseball in our Sanford Health injury report. Octavio Dotel has some right elbow inflammation. Bruce Rondon was called up, and there are reports that Jose Valverde has been dispatched to Detroit to perhaps close games for them in the near future. Chad Billingsley, boy, what a tough break for the Dodgers.
That's a tough break right there. They already lost Zach Greinke. Now they lost another good starter in Billingsley.
Ron Gardenhire this morning talking about the Twins with a .500 record at the time. Now they're 2 games up, but 1 over 500. And one of the first things, in fact, it might have been the first thing he mentioned was, we're a lot healthier than we were a year ago. And he said, last year at this time, we were just trying to figure out who was going to make the next start. Baker went down. Pavano wasn't right. Blackburn wasn't right. And there's still some fluidity in the Twins rotation. Now it's Hernandez who's going to fill the back end of the rotation. It was Liam Hendricks. Eventually, Samuel DeDuno perhaps.
Well, Cole DeVries.
Another one.
Yep.
But at least they can go through the front end of the rotation knowing that, all right, it's going to be Diamond, it's going to be Worley, it's going to be Correa, and presumably Pelfrey if he can get off to a better start. 1-2. 2-2. Pop up. And Escobar with the catch, 2 down. And Vallejo will come to the plate. At some point this spring, folks will actually be able to get out and do some fishing on open water. See if the Glenn Perkins fishing lure does the trick once the ice melts. Be one of the first 5,000 adult fans through the turnstiles Thursday for the first game against the Rangers. Pick one up. Presented by 96.3 K-Twin, the Glenn Perkins fishing lure will look great in any tackle box.
Well, you talked about that in game 1. You still have the Eddie Gordado fishing lure?
I got the Ron Gardenhire one. I got a Justin Morneau one. I got a Joe Mauer one.
Oh, you must have a big tackle box.
But I think in my years of slow trolling in the evening, trying to get a nice walleye on one of those rapids, I think I snagged a rock bass once with the Eddie Gordado one. To center, and Hicks go over a few steps, and Pelfrey walks off the mound, confidently retiring the Marlins. 1-2-3. Fox Saturday Baseball returns this Saturday. That's why they call it Fox Saturday Baseball.
Very good.
3 great matchups. National League East leading Braves go to Detroit to take on the Tigers. Some people think that might be a World Series preview. Phillies battling the Mets, Reds and the Nationals. Some people think that'll be an NLCS preview. It's presented by Chevrolet, and it returns this week at 11:30 a.m. Central. Twins will be here taking on the Texas Rangers. Eduardo Escobar, another first pitch strike from Nolasco. 1-1. Twins go to Detroit after the 4-game series here with the Rangers. Again, the Tigers and Royals postponed tonight. Big swing and a foul. 1-2. Right now, the leaders in the American League Central, the Kansas City Royals. Breaking ball served into center. Escobar with another hit. And a leadoff single for the Twins here in the third. Join the Twins season ticket family this year. You'll be hitting the sweet spot. Buy any of the Twins season ticket packages and receive 10% off food, beverage, and merchandise bought at Target Field. Call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com to check out the options, learn about the cool benefits that come along with Twins season tickets. Here's Aaron Hicks. Hicks hitless this afternoon. Has just one hit in his home ballpark this year. He has 2 hits at Target Field this year. Escobar will hold up at second. So Hicks, who's typically a patient hitter, and I think most of his hits have come when he's jumped on the first pitch.
By 0 for 2 in that first ball game, drew a walk, and then his last at bat, remember he had the line drive to left field, hit it sharply. Right there, a ball in the zone, aggressively. And I mean aggressively. Nice aggressive swing at the base hit. So good at bat for Hicks.
We'll see what Carroll can do here as the Twins hope to mount a rally or at least build one with the bottom third of their batting order. And Carroll takes at the knees. Well, if you're Hicks, and he talked about it after the Chicago series, how he feels a little bit better at the plate hitting 8th. He's seen 7 at bats before he hits. Well, look, what might he have noticed about Nolasco? He's getting ahead with a fastball on the first pitch, so be ready for it.
Be ready, and he was. Jamie Carroll, good at bats against Nolasco. 4 for 9 lifetime.
Cracked foul, 0-2. Trevor Plouffe played third base in the first game. Got a hit, played well in the field. And Ron Gardenhire said this morning, you get everybody in the game. Wilkin Ramirez, the only position player not to get a start here today.
Remember, it's Jamie Carroll on Sunday that led off for the Twins and got a couple hits in that leadoff spot.
Breaking ball, called third strike. Carroll locked up on a slow curve, 73 miles per hour, 1 away.
Nolasco picking up his first strikeout. They said he has 2 types of curveballs, one hard and then the slow one, and that kind of froze Jamie Carroll.
Now a big at bat here for Dozier. Got 3 hits this afternoon, including a leadoff triple. So much talk about what moving down in the order has meant for Hicks. How about what moving up in the order has meant for Brian Dozier? 3 hits today and a much more representative batting average.
Yeah, in the interview in Game 1, he was talking about that. He said in the minor leagues, I let off a lot. He says, my job to get on, maybe steal some bases, but, score when the big boys hit me, knock me in.
Another curve that hits the outside corner. It's 0-2.
2 straight curveballs, big slow curveballs to Dozier. Nolasco ahead in the count.
Pretty impressive what Nolasco's done here. I mean, he's found himself in a bit of a predicament. And he's pitched. He's mixed up pitches. He froze the veteran Carroll. Dozier's looked at a couple curves. Another breaking pitch fouled back. We saw one at 73, that one at 82.
Yeah, a lot of that just comes with mound time too. This guy has a lot of major league starts.
36 pitches though and 28 strikes.
I think a lot of times when you're not overpowering like him, he's learned how to pitch, and when he gets in situations like this, rather than trying to throw harder, he backs off. And that's what they always say. When you feel like you're tense, relax. Just throw a changeup. Throw something, something off speed.
The analogy someone used once with me, appropriate since we've all had to do a lot of extra winter driving here in the spring. Take your foot off the gas pedal if you feel the car starting to skid a little bit.
It's hard. It's hard because you're so competitive out there that your adrenaline takes over and you just want to bury the hitter, but good pitchers, they take something off in situations like this. And then he snuck that fastball. He tried to that last pitch at 90 miles an hour. If you throw all that slow stuff, that 90 mile an hour to a hitter sometimes feels 95, 96.
Breaking ball, and Dozier with a nice job fighting this off. Parmalee had a good at bat, ended up hitting the ball hard at the end of it. We'll see what Dozier can do here. Still behind in the count, 0-2. trying to break through here, down 4-0. Inning started with a pair of singles. Blocked, and the lead runner Escobar stays put, so that means Hicks has to stay put too.
Yeah, Brantley doing a good job of smothering that ball.
All right, curveball in the dirt. We've seen it a million times. Does that mean Dozier's going to get a high fastball next?
I haven't seen Nolasco enough, to really say what his game plan is. What he'd like to do is get a ground ball right here.
It's foul. Another breaking pitch. Dozier hanging tough. And Brantley will go to the mound. Nolasco got the opening day assignment. He had 3 complete games for the Marlins last year, a couple of shutouts, and an otherwise awful year for the franchise. So he's got the stuff to dominate and pitch deep into a ballgame.
31 starts last year, 12 wins, 13 losses. Pitched 191 innings.
Another 1-2 pitch to Dozier. Fastball off the plate, 2-2. "41 pitches for Nolasco, and it seems like half of them have been to Parmalee and Dozier. And another foul. It's tough when you're battling up there and the count is forever 0-2, and now Dozier's battled far enough to at least even the count. And now it's a full count.
Good take right there by Dozier. Very good at bat so far.
A little speed to work with for the Twins. Escobar at second, Hicks at first. He's had such a great at bat. Twins might keep the runners where they are just to not distract the hitter.
You don't want to run into a double play right here either. Line drive. See what the Twins do.
Runners stay put, and Dozier takes a long walk to first base. That is a great plate appearance by Brian Dozier.
Nolasco walking his first batter, and that brings up Joe Mauer with 1 out.
Mauer hitless over the last 2+ games and 6 at bats, so he's due.
He's due for a hit. Make it an extra base hit, Joe. 5 doubles on the year, a couple home runs for Joe Mauer.
Nolasco from the stretch with the bases loaded. Breaking ball, missing ball 1. Nolasco retired the first 7 batters, and Escobar and Hicks got hits. Carroll frozen on a breaking pitch, took a called third strike, and the epic at bat by Dozier. Big chance for the Twins. They need to get something out of this. Two and 0. Escobar at third, Hicks at second, and Dozier at first. swinging away, and it looked like he got a cutter and fouled it back.
Yeah, he got a fastball up and fouled it back. So Joe, in that situation, you know, a lot of times we'll see him take a pitch, but right there, looking for the fastball, just got underneath it.
Two and one. Cool, maybe cold night, but clear. Nothing falling from the sky. 2-1 to Mauer. Curve for strike two. That was the one that backs off into the low 70s.
That shows a lot of confidence for him right there to throw that curveball. You don't want to fall behind 3-1 to Joe Mauer. Good breaking ball.
2-2 to Mauer. In the dirt, that kicks away. Escobar's going to come in and score. Earlier, Brantley blocked one in the dirt. That one hooked down around Mauer's feet for a wild pitch, and it's 4-1.
First wild pitch of the year for Nolasco. That ball short hopping Brantley, and then hitting his chest protector, and then deflecting to his right. Escobar scoots in. All runners advance.
With first base open and a full count now to Mauer, a hit to the outfield could draw the Twins to within one. Three and two to Mauer. Base hit, right field. Dozier will be held. Stanton has a great arm, and Mauer delivers a base hit. Nolasco froze Mauer with a curveball to even the count at 2-2, and Joe was waiting for the second one.
Let's do a little pitch by pitch to Joe Mauer. Nolasco misses with that harder breaking ball, and then misses with the fastball in. Joe fouled that 2-0 pitch, and then the slow curveball to even the count 2-2. Then the wild pitch that scored Escobar, and then the other curveball that stayed right there, and Joe hitting it sharply into right field.
And now Arcia with the tying run at first in a 4-2 ball game.
Mauer picking up his 8th RBI of the year.
Outside ball one. Arcia lifted a fly ball to left his first time up.
Nolasco needed only 25 pitches in the first 2 innings total. Right now 26 here.
Still only one out on the board.
Trying to get the second out.
Pulled toward first, bobbled, out at first. No, they're saying he's safe. They're saying he did not have his foot on the bag. First base umpire DJ Rayburn is going to get an argument from Mike Redmond.
I think DJ Rayburn did call the right thing. It looked like Maloney bobbled the ball and went back toward the bag, but then picked up the runner as he was coming in, Dozier, and never touched the bag.
A run scores. It's 4-3. And Mahoney obviously felt that he had control of the ball with the foot on the bag, but DJ Rayburn saw it another way.
Yeah, let's take a look right here. Mahoney backhanding it. You can see the ball. He's got his foot.
Oh,
yeah, he's out right there.
Yeah.
Yep. I thought he bobbled it and then took that left foot off the bag, but maybe because the ball was on the ground, I don't know. Maybe the umpire was blocked.
Well, no ruling yet, but the Twins have gotten back to within one.
Yeah, that has to be an error on Maloney.
Well, I've learned the first 3 weeks to not assume anything, but
yeah, they do give him an error and no RBI for Arcia.
Tying run at second, a 4-3 ball game. Here's Morneau. It has been, by comparison to the first 2 innings, an exhausting inning for Ricky Nolasco. Strike on the outside corner. Morneau with a tall fly ball to right, his first time up. Where the Twins had speed on the bases earlier this inning, there isn't much out there with Mauer and Arcia. 2 strikes. Maybe it'll be when the weather warms up, but whenever Justin starts crushing those pitches, he'll be piling up the runs batted in. 2 strikes. Fly ball, another tall one, this time to short center. And that's out number 2.
As I mentioned, first 2 innings went very easy for Nolasco, but this inning, giving up 3 runs, 3 hits, 30 total pitches.
Ryan Doman with 2 outs and 2 on. Doman does not have a home run, but he's got 5 doubles this year. And some big ones. And some Twins wins. Hit a fly ball to center last inning.
Doman had 18 home runs last year in his first season for the Twins.
And Velasco just flings up ball 1. Remember, coming into this inning, in fact, through the first 8 innings, I think he was strike 1 to the first 8 batters. They may have thrown strike 1 to Carroll as well, but second time through the batting order, he's not had quite the control. 1-0. Way out in front, and that rolls near the backstop, and both runners will move up. So without that abundance of speed on the bases, potentially big advance for both Mauer and Arcia.
Yeah, this ball has to be blocked, stopped somehow. You can see it should be a pass ball right there on Brantley. The ball hit his glove and then got behind him. And it will be a pass ball.
Wild pitch earlier this inning allowed the first run to score. One and 1 to Doman. Way out in front of another off-speed pitch. Is that the changeup?
Looked like a changeup, yes.
Three hits in the inning for the Twins. They need one more. 2-2. And the pitch count continues to mount for Ricky Nolasco. Number 60 coming in. What'd you say, 25 coming into the inning?
Yeah, 25 coming in the inning. So how many would that make in this inning if he throws this one right here? Come on.
35 pitches in the third
good.
inning. And all that really matters for most of your viewers is the fact that the Twins got 3 hits and 3 runs. Three-run first by the Marlins, answered in the third by the Twins.
Yeah, you know what? The Twins were down 4-0. They ended up making this a one-run ball game by scoring 3 runs on 3 hits.
As the third inning was critical for Mike Pelfrey, now to the fourth, with the Twins jumping back into the ball game, down a run. He needs to have a clean inning like he did in the third.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, third inning.
Mahoney singled to start the second inning rally when the Marlins scored another run. Ball 1.
Getting ahead has been a problem for Pelfrey. He's faced now 17 batters, only got ahead of 7 of the 17.
At the knees, 1-1. I think I mentioned during a spring training telecast, and I don't believe you were working the spring training telecast, both in terms of stature. There's a ball driven to left center field, chased by Arcia, and it's over his head to the wall. It'll be at least 2, and it is a double for Mahoney. Arcia went over when instead it looked like it needed to go back.
Yep. Arcia can play all 3 outfield positions. Right here, Maloney takes that pitch down, and you can see him cut across and then goes back instead of just going back toward the warning track right off the get-go. The ball drifted over his head.
When he showed up in Chicago, I think it was in Chicago when he rejoined the team. At any rate, I asked him about playing left field when in Rochester and in the minor leagues with the Twins he'd been in right field. Bounce to the right side. It will get the job done in terms of advancing the runner. Mahoney to third. Solano retired, 1 away. And Arcia said, hey, no problem. In Venezuela, in winter ball, I play left field all the time. So it's not an unfamiliar position to him at all.
Yeah, good at bat right there by Solano, doing the little things, and that's getting Maloney over to third base. Good piece of hitting.
Here's Coughlin, 1 for 2. Anyway, I was talking about Pelfrey, and in terms of stature and his windup, he's a little bit thicker version of a guy you played with the Twins, Mike Smithson. Mike was a little bit taller at 6'8", but they both brought bring their hands up over their head and have a very slow, deliberate.
Smitty had a great sinker and a hard slider. He had some good years at the major league level, as Pelfrey has.
Left a pitch up there, fouled back. Smithson was the quintessential sinker slider pitcher. And I guess that's how you'd have to identify Pelfrey too. His stuff might not be as crisp as it was before the surgery, at least not yet. 1 strike. Infield in for the Twins. Dozier backpedals, is able to make the play, out number 2.
Well, there's a good sinker right there. So Pelfrey leaving Maloney at third base, now 2 outs.
And it'll bring up Polanco. You can ask us a question online at carsoup.com/baseball. Greg in Prior Lake wondering whether we'd like to see more scheduled doubleheaders in baseball.
I don't think the players really want to play the day-night doubleheader. You know, way back when there used to be scheduled Sunday doubleheaders a lot of times,
right.
Saturday, Sunday, but
almost always followed by a travel day on Monday.
Right.
Well, what do you think? Would you like it? It won't happen.
No.
Because there's a ball getting to the backstop, and the runner at third, Mahoney, hesitated and held up. Big break for the Twins there.
Yep. Big break.
Little cross up. What happened?
Yeah, maybe right here. Let's take a look at. I think that. Maybe Doma was expecting a fastball and ended up being a breaking ball. And Twins did get a break.
1-0 to Polanco.
No, I don't think. With the gate receipts, you're not going to have the double headers scheduled anymore. They're always going to be like today, the day-night double header.
Bounce to the right side, and Dozier flips to first, and Pelfrey pitches around a leadoff double. Take a look at some chilled Pepsi fans of the game, but they're enjoying the night nonetheless.
And you are hereby circled.
Haven't been many times we've been able to say this, but we actually have a weather break here at Target Field. At least it's not raining here. The game at Comerica Park has been rained out. The game in Chicago has been rained out. They have a delay in the 7th inning at Fenway Park with the A's leading 13-0.
I believe coming in today's play, I read there were 15 postponements already this year. Twins have had 4 of them, but a couple more tonight.
Parmalee fouls the first pitch back. In Colorado, and I'm not sure how this is possible, the first pitch temperature was actually warmer tonight by a few degrees than it was this afternoon. Warmer, though, for a night game than a day game.
Well, it started off at what, 23?
Can't possibly stay that cold. 1-1 to Parmalee. Nolasco hoping to recover from a very uneven 3rd inning. A lot of odd stuff happened in the inning. Some hits, wild pitches, pass balls, errors. 1-2 now to Parmalee. Hit the ball hard after a long at bat. Hit it to center fielder Ruggiano to end the 2nd. And now 2-2. This is the type of at bat that Parmalee had in the 2nd inning when he fell behind, worked the count full, fouled off some pitches before finally stinging the ball pretty hard. Interesting outfield for the Twins tonight. You've got Hicks with just over 50 major league at bats. Parmalee's got a few more than that. Arcia just has a handful of pretty young, inexperienced outfield. Full count to Parmalee. Ripped to right. Stanton is there, 1 away. So again, Parmalee works the count full, hits the ball fairly hard for the first out. Fox Sports sends our sympathies to everyone affected by this past week's tragedies, both in Boston and West Texas. Please support onefundboston.org for those affected in Boston. 1 down. Here's Escobar. Started the 3-run 3rd inning with a single. A high fly to deep right center field. Stanton's going to chase this ball, and he's not going to get there. It lands at the base of the fence, and Escobar is scampering to 3rd. More than any other Twin this year, Eduardo Escobar has been able to put the barrel on the bat the most frequently.
Well, he really has. I mean, the little guy just scoots around that field, too. It was fun to watch him go from home all the way to 3rd. That ball was down in a strike zone. We've seen Escobar show some power to left center. This time he pulls the ball, hits it to the base of the fence. Just swing right here, just dropping the barrel of the bat on that ball. And the ball ricochets off the wall.
Now the Marlins bring their infield in here in the 4th inning with the tying run at 3rd and 1 away. Hicks singled and scored his last time up. Nice dig by Brantley. How in the world did he catch that ball?
Take a look at Escobar right here. He hits this ball. He knows that it's probably not going to be caught. And right here, hitters, sometimes runners, they have that extra gear. Look at those legs go. I love watching triples. I used to love watching Rod Carew get a triple. He just glided around the bases.
1-0 to Hicks. Checked his swing, 2-0. I have no way of knowing what's going to happen here, but I think I've mentioned it on the air a few times. Trying to imagine what it must be like for Hicks, and his first few hits always came in his last at bat of a game. Well, now here he is for the first time. He got a hit in his first at bat, and you'd like to think that he would relax a little bit and follow it up with another productive at bat.
Tell you what, has a good take on that last pitch, staying off that slow curveball.
2-0. 3-0 with Carroll on deck.
Velasco walked one last inning. Now with one out. Falling behind on Hicks, 3-0. As you see the infield in.
Hicks looked like he was ready to pull the trigger on 3-0. Takes it for a strike. Sliced foul, 3-2. Looking for a productive at bat here from Hicks. Try to get a ball through a drawn-in infield and get this game tied up. Called third strike, and Hicks was ready to unbuckle and head to first. 2 down.
Well, a big strikeout for Nolasco. Let's take a look at the pitch right here. Looks like that sinker. Wow. Take a look at the height. That ball's low right there. There's a better angle. Boy. Nasty pitch.
A big at bat here for Carroll. It was called out on strikes, with the Twins threatening in the third. Infield back at normal depth. Sharply hit on the ground. The Twins leave Escobar at third. They don't tie it up. It's still 4-3.
Inning, and I'm Jamie Hirsch inside the Minnesota Lottery Winners Circle, where we've got a very nice family, the Deering family, enjoying tonight's game. It says, "Hi, Grandpa Don." That's your dad. You said he's a lifelong Twins fan. Why'd you guys decide to come out to the game tonight?
We got tickets from a friend, and they're awesome seats. It's cold, but we're ready.
Awesome.
Down on.
Yes, right behind home plate. Can't ask for much better seats than this. And as part of being in the Minnesota Lottery Winners Circle, you actually get $100 worth of Minnesota Lottery scratch-off tickets. So congratulations and thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Jamie, and you are hereby circled.
Breaking ball for strike one. Now fastball, ball one.
Well, better last 2 innings for Mike Pelfrey. You want to keep the game. Yep, you want to keep the game right where it's at.
Each team had an opportunity to score a run in the fourth after an extra base hit, but didn't. This one drilled to center. Hicks retreating, going back, and that will sail over his head. And Stanton cracks a double, and the throw going to an open second base. So Stanton gives the Marlins their second straight leadoff double.
He got a fastball right there, and it was a line drive over the head of Hicks. His third double of the year. Again, I always look location, 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 and watch this pitch. Pretty much right there, came right back into that swing of Stanton. I'm sure the Marlins very happy at that swing right there. Ball exploded off his bat.
Here's Dobbs. Dobbs singled in the first, popped up to end the second inning. And Pelfrey shaves the outside corner. Mentioned that Pelfrey's got a couple of wins, but in those two starts, he barely pitched enough to qualify for a win. 5 1/3 innings and 5 innings. The Twins have had Pedro Hernandez warming up before. Now down in the bullpen, it looks like Anthony Swarzak is warming up. Too tall for Pelfrey. Backhanded nicely by Dozier. What a play. Brian Dozier has shown great range going to his left. And here, a sensational play going to his right.
I think this is the first time all season long we have seen Dozier make this play up the middle, and it's a nice play. You know, Dobbs doing his job, getting Stanton over, almost picking up a base hit, but Dozier playing that short hop, and then on the run, able to get something on it to get Dobbs at first base. Nice defensive play by Brian Dozier.
Infield in again with one out and a runner at third. Ruggiano 0 for 2. Facing Pelfrey. Inside, it was Ruggiano beating out the potential double play grounder in the first inning that scored the first run of the game, and then Brantley followed with his 2-run double. Off the plate. Now, following this similar script in the fourth inning, Pelfrey gave up the leadoff double. Solano moved the runner over. And then maybe the biggest at bat of the fourth inning was Coughlin bouncing to Dozier, who was drawn in with 1 out. Foul back. 2-1. Looked like Pelfrey left that ball up a little bit.
And Ruggiano, all he wants to do here is hit a fly ball and maybe for a sacrifice fly. Had that uppercut swing.
Two and 1. Snapped his bat, and lucky he didn't snap his ankle off his front leg. It's been a kind of an odd game here for Pelfrey. He gave up the 3 runs in the first and 3 more hits, another run in the second. But then in the third, 3 fly ball outs. Then in the fourth, 3 ground ball outs.
That's getting in the kitchen right there. Ruggiano, as soon as he did that, he walked right to the dugout. Okay, if I have that pad, I also need a new bat.
Pelfrey only 1 strikeout. It came with men on base in the second. Pokes it foul. Eight hits for the Marlins. The Twins only have 4, but the Twins are only down by a run. Pelfrey trying to keep it that way. '88th pitch of the night for Mike Pelfrey. Got him. A second strikeout for Pelfrey, and again, It comes in a big spot.
Luciano pretty good at making contact, so the strikeouts that Pelfrey's been able to get. Got Polanco, who doesn't strike out that much in the second, and here, almost like a little cut fastball. Luciano going out of his swing zone, and a big strikeout.
Pretty much the same pitch that struck out Polanco, wasn't it? A cutter or something off the plate.
Yep.
Infield back at normal depth, and here's Brantley. Foul back. They called the game at Fenway Park in the 7th inning. The rain delay halted play, and now they've posted a final 13-0 Oakland. One strike to Brantley. And now 1-1. Pretty safe bet given the context of what I said before, that if Pelfrey can get through this 5th inning, he'll be done for the night. Keeping in mind that a year ago he still had not had his surgery. And then it's been a struggle for him with nearly 20 pitches average per inning so far. Missing inside, and it's 2-1.
Well, he had trouble in that first inning, kind of gets momentum going. He gave up a run in the second, but he's worked out of a couple jams here. In the third, a 1-2-3 inning, then a leadoff double in the fourth, and a leadoff double right here in the fifth. Got a chance to work out of it.
2-1. Nice block by Doman, and he keeps the runner at third. And the count now 3-1.
Yeah, the pitch count up right now at 90 pitches, but a lot of times you look at that and say, okay, all the pitches, were they under duress? And you'd have to say that here in game 2, Pelfrey's been under duress in almost every pitch he's thrown.
Except in the 3rd inning, they've almost all been thrown from the stretch.
Right.
Didn't score in the 4th or the 5th so far after leadoff doubles. 3-1 to Brantley.
Take one of those little sacrifice flies.
3-2.
92-mile-an-hour fastball.
Hoping what might be his last pitch of the ball game is one of his better pitches of the ball game. A high drive to right field, and going back is Parmalee off the facing of the basket area. It's a double, and trotting in from third is Stanton, and that might be the last pitch for Pelfrey regardless. Here comes Ron Gardenhire.
All right, challenged him right there with a fastball, and Brantley hitting his 2nd double of the ball game, picking up his 3rd RBI of the ball game. And it's a 5-3 game.
So Pelfrey tried to wriggle out of another jam in the 5th, couldn't quite get it done, and he'll be taken out with 4 2/3 innings on his log. And it'll be Anthony Swarzak replacing Pelfrey with the Marlins up by 2. fifth inning, Fox Sports North presents Kids in the City, supported by Buffalo Wild Wings. Celebrating the accomplishments of the Boys and Girls Club youth at the 9th annual Kids in the City event Thursday at Target Field. Enjoy an adult pre-party at Fulton Brewery. Silent auction, kids, interactive activities, and more. For sponsorship and tickets, visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on North Supports under the More tab.
Well, Anthony Swarzak coming in. He started the season on a disabled, was activated on April 7th. He actually pitched that night in Baltimore, got the win. He's 1-0 out of that bullpen. His other 2 starts or outings, 4 innings in Kansas City, and then his last one coming on the 16th, 3 1/3 innings. Very good pitching out of that bullpen. So Swarzak making his 4th appearance overall.
Trying to do what he has done in a couple of other Mike Pelfrey starts, and that is take the ball and throw strikes, pitch effectively, pick up the pace a little bit, and Swarzak's done a nice job with that, coming on in relief again of Mike Pelfrey. Valleca the batter. And that's what we've seen from Swarzak. No nonsense, come in, throw strikes. Valleca with a couple of outfield flies. Last 3 Pelfrey starts, when the Twins have turned to the bullpen, it's been Swarzak now in each case. So Pelfrey hoping that Swarzak can pick him up here and get the Twins off the field quickly in the 5th.
And Swarzak has accepted this role, and he's done a very good job as this type of long man out of the bullpen.
Half swing, and Domo with a nice block. They should appeal because he may, from up here, look like he might have gone. No appeal, 2-1. Sometimes they do that in horse racing, where they'll pair a second horse to another horse, and you can bet on 2 horses for the price of 1. Well, it's kind of what's going on here with Pelfrey and Swarzak. They're the first 2 pitchers, and the Pelfrey starts. Fastball up and away, 3-1. Nine hits, 4 doubles allowed by Pelfrey. Foul, 3-2.
Swarzak in his 4th season with the Twins, 27 years old. I think Gardy and Rick Anderson like him in this role that he's in right now.
Full count to Valleca, and he walked him. So Swarzak does not retire the first batter he faces, and now he'll go after Joe Mahoney. Mahoney swung a dangerous bat for the Marlins in this game. Leadoff single and a run scored in the 2nd, and a leadoff double. 2 doubles here in the 5th have added another run to the Marlins' lead. Big swing and a miss and a letter high fastball. You know, the last 2 years have been at times hard for Twins fans to watch. 2 very unsuccessful years on the field. But if within that they have determined the role for Swarzak, there's something to be gained. A spot starter. But if his stuff is a little short to be an effective starting pitcher, leave him where he is and let him pick up a starter who gives them a shorter than hoped for start.
I think we could say also the same thing about Brian Dunsing.
Yeah,
same thing. You know, Swarzak is a starter in 28 starts for the Twins, 6-17. Very high ERA, but as a reliever, a lot better. This is his 59th relief appearance. Good ERA at 3.8.
Roll to second. Dozier with a nice pickup. Man, is he playing the heck out of second base.
Nice play.
Mahoney retired. Swarzak gets the third out. The Marlins had a run. The Twins will send up the top of their lineup.
Lead off the bottom of the fifth inning, but what an inning he had in the top of the fifth. Off of Dobbs, remember Dozier has it go to his right, makes a great play right here, and then gets the final out by going far to his left. Able to get something on that throw, and then off the bat of Maloney, the last batter, look at that. So Dozier showing some range.
Now the Twins have had a lot of different characters that they've run through the middle infield. And while things might be up in the air a little bit at short, it sure looks like they found their second baseman. And how many times do you see it?
Guy makes two great plays in one inning, and he leads off the next inning, bottom of the inning. Unbelievable. How does that happen?
Dozier, the leadoff man for the Twins, has walked and scored here tonight. 3 hits this afternoon. And he takes a breaking pitch, strike one from Nolasco. Nolasco, for his part, has kind of bobbed and weaved his way through the last couple innings himself. And he's gotten through 4 innings really relying on his breaking pitches. And Dozier pulls the bat back 1-1.
Well, the scouting report on Nolasco, and again, he's making his first career appearance against the Twins. Scouting report, he's not overpowering him, mixing a lot of breaking stuff, and that's what he's been doing so far.
Fly ball to center, and Ruggiano with the catch, 1 away. For more on Brian Dozier, let's go to Jamie Hirsch.
Yeah, Dickenberg, you mentioned that Brian Dozier is enjoying his time at second base. He's also really enjoying his time in that leadoff role. He told me it takes him back to his days in the minors, where he spent the bulk of his time there in that leadoff spot. And so he's not only enjoying it, he is thriving in that role. Obviously 3 for 4 this afternoon, and earlier in this game drawing an incredible 11-pitch walk. Ended up scoring a run that inning, so didn't quite get a hit right there, but guy is certainly thriving in that new role.
And you saw right there, Brian Dozier, walked into the dugout, and the first guy he went to go talk to was Tom Bernansky, right. Maybe about that at bat.
Ball 1 to Joe Mauer, an RBI single his last time up. Over for a strike, 1-1. Missing inside, 2-1. "80 pitches for Nolasco. Did a nice job retiring Hicks and Carroll to strand Escobar at third base last inning. Twins were one productive at bat. Oh, Maurer got a pitch up and fouled it back. One productive at bat away from tying the game at 4. But Hicks struck out. Carroll hit the ball sharply on the ground to end the inning. 2-2 to Maurer. Change up just off the corner.
The eye of Joe Mauer right there. Nolasco taking something off the pitch. Wow.
Full count. Mauer to left, a sinking liner, and then lands for a hit. His second hit. Nolasco pitching against the Twins for the first time is probably very aware now of why Mauer's won 3 batting titles. Arcia to the plate.
You see so many hitters trying to pull that ball, but watch Joe right here. Outer half of the plate, just takes it the other way. Boy, it's almost like deja vu all over again. Every time we see Joe Mauer swing, and whether it's April 1st or here the 23rd, it's all, head watching the ball, make contact with the bat. Such a beautiful swing.
Here's Arcia. Outside, ball 1. Arcia reached on an error, hit a chopper toward Mahoney. A run scored on the play. Scored 3 times. They also had runners at second and third later in the inning in the third, but could not get the tying run in that inning either. Here, Arcia represents the tying run. In the dirt, 2-0. We talked about it with Pelfrey, and maybe we're seeing the same thing from Nolasco. He just doesn't seem to be having nearly the command from the stretches from the windup. He was sailing along through 2 innings. As soon as Escobar got on base in the third, the game changed.
Yeah, he kind of changed his whole approach, going more off-speed pitches. First 2 innings came easy. 6 up, 6 down through only 25 pitches.
2-0 to Arcia. Takes a strike. Fidgets a little bit, but he doesn't get out of the batter's box. They're now with a 2-1 count. Breaking ball snaps over. What a pitch. 71 miles per hour. Plenty of break on it.
He's done that a couple times. He'll fall behind, 2-1, and then rely on that breaking ball. He did that to Joe Mauer, and then he left one up on 3-2, and Joe Mauer got that RBI single in the third inning.
2-2 to Arcia. And he got another breaking ball, and he bounced it foul.
Remember Carlos Baerga, the switch hitter for the infielder? Yep. Arcia reminds me a little bit of him as a left-handed hitter. Guy built almost the same, stocky, with power.
2-2. Golfs it into short left. Coughlin comes in. Shortstop going out. The ball drops. That ball had to be caught. Malenko went out. That was Coughlin's ball. And instead it drops for a single.
Yeah, you're right. That ball has to be caught right there. Coughlin has to take charge. Maleka going back. You can see him. He went towards second base. So Hovland just kind of gave up on it. It'll be a gift base hit right there for Arcia.
Really, it was in the air a long time in super slow motion.
Took forever to get
Somebody's got to catch that ball. Well, here's Morneau with 2 men aboard. The Twins catch a break in the fifth.
Let's see if the Twins can do something with that break.
Breaking ball on the outside corner. Morneau with a skyrocket to right field and then another one to center field in the third.
How about skyrocket over that limestone in right field?
One and one. Falling behind 4-0. The Twins again had a chance to tie it in the third, chance to tie it in the fourth. Now down a couple runs, another chance presented to them here in the fifth. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Good changeup right there. Justin a bit out front.
I don't know if that's what you call pitching backwards, but it's been pitching effectively with men on base. He's in a lot of typical fastball counts. He's thrown everything but the fastball.
Justin's only home run this year came here against Matt Harvey of the Mets.
Waited on another breaking pitch and fouled it back. Lasco struggling, trying to complete 5 innings, 93 pitches for the right-hander, and his lead is in peril here in the fifth. Got him with a tailing fastball, 2 away.
Lasco picking up his 4th strikeout.
Never threw his fastball for a strike through the hole at bat.
Well, this one has a little bit of tail on it. You can see down and away. Good pitch, but Justin pulling out a little bit and unable to reach it.
Now Doman, who was at the plate with 2 men in scoring position in the third. The Twins down just a run, and Lasco struck him out. Getting a second opportunity here.
He threw Doman in at bat a lot of changeups. There's that curveball that just misses.
Not by much. Ball 1. Doman with plenty of experience coming into the game against Lasco. 3 for 11, 0 for 2 against him here tonight. Fastball in off the plate, 2-0. Then the Doman at bat in the third inning. There was a pass ball charged to Brantley. Strike on the outside corner, 2-1. Lauer at second and Arcia at first. Foul, 2-2. Looked to be kind of similar to the pitch that struck out Morneau. A fastball tailing away from the left-handed.
Yeah, you know, in this situation right here, he doesn't want to make a mistake in, so he's going slow stuff, you know, and then that fastball away. He's throwing him 2 straight fastballs here.
2-2 to Ryan Doman. Breaking ball, bounce to the right side. Easy play for Solano. And the Twins get a couple of hits, leave 2 aboard. It's still 5-3 Miami. very un-Miami-like temperatures. With the NFL draft 2 days away, Vikings general manager Rick Spielman addressed reporters today about the team's plans. Read Brian Hall's coverage at FoxSportsNorth.com. Somewhere in there, I'm guessing Mr. Spielman would say they'll draft the best football player available. That's usually what the general managers say.
That's very good. You could be a general manager.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Not for the Vikings. Anthony Swarzak, who relieved Mike Pelfrey last inning, able to get out of that 5th inning. Did walk the first batter he faced, but then got the ground ball off the bat of Maloney that Dozier made a great play to end the inning.
This is where the Twins need to do what Swarzak's done a really good job of. Boom, boom, boom. Go after the hitters. Hopefully have a quick inning. Get the Twins off the field. And just as importantly, get Nolasco or somebody else out there on the mound. Ball 1. Two and 0. Solano, Coughlin, and Polanco here in the 6th. Fly ball to right field, short right field. One down, Parmalee with the catch. Twins tickets for this season remain affordable and available. Special deals await for every day of the week. Check out the deal that works best for you and your budget. Visit twinsbaseball.com/tickets or call 800-33-TWINS and get yours today. This afternoon we had a quick ball game. It was a good ball game. Twins won at 4-3, but we were just about done with the ball game at this point.
Yeah, first game 2 hours and 26 minutes.
We're approaching that here, and we're just in the 6th inning. Strike on the outside corner. And again, the outside corner. 0-2. Swarzak looking in for the next sign. A.J. Ramos warming up for the Marlins. One and 2. Baltimore beat Toronto 4-3. Another one-run win for the Orioles. The Twins handed them a couple of one-run losses in Baltimore. 2-2. One-run win for the Yankees over the Rays. On the ground to Morneau. Swarzak covers. 2 down. You can be a part of our broadcast by voting for who you think is the Arby's Value Player of the Game. Just text value with space and the player's last name to 234234. Let us know who you think had the most value in today's game, and we'll tell you the winner in the postgame show. Might be Escobar. Already got a couple of hits. If Nolasco is done, his first trip to Minnesota, there'll be 2 dominant thoughts.
It's cold. That's
it's
what he'll
cold,
say.
And who the heck is Eduardo Escobar? 1-1. Escobar with a couple of hits against Nolasco. Escobar will hit in the bottom of the 6th. One and 2. Nolasco with that hoodie rolled back over around his neck. Up high, 2-2. Supposed to warm up over the course of this homestand to the point where by Sunday they may get over 70 degrees.
No.
Yes. To right field, and Parmalee drifts back a few steps.
Good inning.
Good inning for Swarzak. See if the Twins get this thing tied up at the bottom of the 6th. On Fox Sports North is presented by McDonald's. Try one of our 3 Angus snack wraps. They're full of unbeatable flavor. And by Toyota. Let's go places. To find the nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Twins down a couple of runs. Go behind the scenes to see how Minnesota Vikings cheerleaders compete for making this year's team. Don't miss the final episode of this 3-part series. Minnesota Vikings cheerleaders making the team Friday at 10:30, only on Fox Sports North.
Well, new pitcher coming in, A.J. Ramos, a strikeout pitcher, making his 10th appearance. 16 strikeouts in 11 2/3 innings. Ramos with a good fastball, a slider, and a changeup in his 2nd season with Marlins.
Parmalee, Escobar, and Hicks will face him here in the Twins' 6th. Parmalee, a couple of lineouts tonight against Nolasco. And he takes strike 1. Speed pitch, a swing and a miss, 0-2.
Yeah, Ramos 26 years old. Great minor league numbers in the minor league system for the Marlins. In 4+ seasons, he had 288 strikeouts in 211 innings pitched.
1-2.
Came up last year, appeared in 11 ball games, all out of relief. 9 1/3 innings, had 13 strikeouts. He's carried that into this year, making his 10th relief appearance.
1-2 to Parmalee. And foul.
Fastball there, clocked at 94.
I think it's fair to say that as this game has evolved into a battle of bullpens, you'd have to give the Twins the advantage. The difference is the Marlins have a 2-run lead here in the bottom of the 6th. Inside, 2-2.
Yeah, the bullpen for the Marlins, they come in, they're 2-5 out of that bullpen, an ERA just over 5. Compare that to the Twins bullpen, 4-1 out of the bullpen, an ERA just over 2.
Only 4 wins for the Marlins. They don't have a save. I beg your pardon. They do have 1 save. Cishek has a save. 2-2.
Just a bit outside.
3-2. very cold night here. You can see Parmalee's breath as he gets ready to take this 3-2 pitch.
Yeah, third plate appearance that the count has run to 3-2 on Parmalee. So he's seen a lot of pitches here in his game 2.
Another foul.
Ricky Nolasco worked the first 5 innings. They gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned runs, with a walk and 4 strikeouts through 99 pitches.
This to left. Coughlin retreating. And Parmalee's hit the ball fairly hard 3 times tonight, once each to the 3 outfield. News from around baseball. The Upton brothers tonight hitting back-to-back home runs in Colorado. They're the first brothers to hit back-to-back home runs since Big Poison, Little Poison. The Wainer brothers did it. Lloyd and Paul back in 1938.
Wow.
I don't remember which was Big Poison, which was Little Poison. Games weren't on TV back then, and I wasn't alive. One down, here's Escobar.
And again, I was not pitching today.
But you can understand why people might think that, back-to-back home runs.
But there are solo home runs. It's okay. They won't beat you.
You won the ball game, right? 1-0 to Escobar.
Well, I don't know about that.
2-0. Escobar's had another good day at the plate. And all he's done for the season is hit .458. Played flawlessly in the field.
And another one just a bit outside. A couple of the pitches getting away from Ramos.
Brantley is going to take a new baseball out to the pitcher. Escobar is going to loosen up his shoelaces a little bit. Redmond hoping that his team can win a game here in Minnesota. 7th manager in the last 7 years for the Marlins. The consensus is around baseball, it hasn't been any of the managers' fault.
No.
And Escobar showing a little respect. 4-pitch walk. That'll get Hicks to the plate. It's a tying run. Hicks singled in the 3rd, and then on a 3-2 pitch took a close pitch. Looked like it was at the knees on the outside corner. And he was called out on strikes. Looking for that big hit that'll get the game tied up. They've had some opportunities, but so far haven't delivered the hit. Off-speed pitch and strike 1. Hicks with 4 home runs in spring training, 3 of them in 1 game in Clearwater. Well, he hasn't come close to hitting a home run here in the big leagues yet. Outside, 1-1. For that matter, he's looking for his first extra base hit. All the hits have been singles. They've all come from the left side of the plate, and they've all been pulled.
Oh, Hicks again trying to make the jump from Double-A to the big leagues. Last year, 13 home runs in 129 games at Double-A, New Britain.
Three and one. 2-1. 15 pitches and only 6 strikes for Ramos. Now 3-1.
Ramos came into this game again 16 strikeouts in the 11 2/3 innings, but also 4 walks, now with 5.
Three and one to Hicks. Back-to-back walks, and 8 of the last 9 pitches have been out of the strike zone.
That's Chuck Hernandez, a pitching coach.
Yep.
My pitching coach when I was with the Angels way back when. He and Marcel Latchman.
He doesn't look nearly that old.
What do you think told me how to pitch to those Warner brothers?
A little bit of gray hair, but nothing like you'd expect.
Baseball a long time, Chuck Hernandez.
Pitching coach for a number of different teams. Good to see him back in the game with the Marlins at this level. Tonight, Carroll has had a couple of frustrating at-bats. Called out on strikes in the 3rd, and then with 2 outs and a tying run at 3rd, he hit the ball sharply, but right at the first baseman, Mahoney. And again, some speed out there with Escobar at 2nd and Hicks at 1st. Ball 1. Ramos's numbers suggested some reliability coming out of the bullpen, but he's walked the number 7 hitter, he's walked the number 8 hitter, now he's fallen behind the number 9 batter. And a strike.
Jamie's always been a good big league hitter, a career .276 hitter coming into this ball game. His playing time has cut back, but a lot of extra batting practice. Veteran knows what he needs to do to stay ready. Just like that.
Base hit right field. Escobar to 3rd. They're going to wave him around. Stanton's throw strong to the plate, but late. And Carroll delivers an RBI single. Hicks moves into second base.
He got a couple of hits the other day in Chicago. And even though his playing time is cut back, this guy is a veteran hitter. And a lot of his hits, just you can pitch me away, I'm going to take it the other way. Almost what Joe Mauer does. Take a look at the pitch, outer half of the plate, and just taking that pitch to right field and driving in a run. His first RBI of the year as Escobar makes it a 5-4 ball game.
And Hicks at 2nd, representing the tying run. And Dozier's had a great day at the plate this afternoon and a great night in the field tonight, hoping to get his first hit in the nightcap. Strike 1. 3 hits today, including a leadoff triple in the first inning. And he's made an assortment of fine defensive plays here tonight. Another rally started by Eduardo Escobar, this time with a walk with 1 out in the 6th. Escobar's already scored. Inside, and it's 2-1. Well, so far, Ramos has done the exact opposite of what Swarzak has done for the Twins. Swarzak's come out of the pen. He's thrown strikes, gotten guys out quickly in the at-bats, and it's been like watching paint dry for Ramos. Double play grounder. Ball came up for Valleca. He stays with it. That ends the inning. The Twins get 1 back. Collision at second base between Jamie Carroll and Solano. Marlins up by 1.
Well, there with the Twins down 4-0. They ended up scoring 3 runs. A pass ball right there. Joe Mauer with an RBI base hit. That in the 3rd inning. And a bobble right there. Off the bat of Arcia. Dozier scored, made it a 4-3 ball game. That was Bradley. Bradley with 2 doubles in the ball game. He's knocked in 3. And we just saw Jamie Carroll make it a 1-run ball game with his first RBI of the year. That scored Escobar for the 2nd time in the game.
You saw in that replay how close Brantley came to hitting the ball out. That missed being a home run by just a matter of inches. Stanton will lead off the 7th against Swarzak. Breaking ball left up and in. Now, Swarzak did walk the first man he faced, but he's thrown strikes ever since. He's gotten the next 4 men. No one's really centered the ball on him or hit it hard. There's a big swing and a miss on another curve.
A good off-speed pitch right there by Swarzak.
You're always talking about that first pitch curve, and he missed it. Come back with a better one immediately after that.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you want it right back because you know what you did wrong.
Chopped foul on another breaking pitch. Stanton just doesn't look right. He has tremendous power, and he almost bent over after that lunging swing. He struck out a couple times this afternoon on pitches out away from him that he was trying to reach for. And it almost seems painful for him to reach out across the plate. Deep fly to right. Parmalee looks to have it in range. 1 down.
They had no trouble in that last at bat in the 5th inning with that fastball right there from Pelfrey.
Well, that wasn't away from him that much either.
No, it wasn't.
1 down, and here's Dobbs. Twins have the luxury with all the rain outs, snow outs, cold outs that they've had. Everybody available out of the bullpen as we move into the later innings, with the possible exception, I suspect, of Jared Burton, who pitched in the 8th inning, gave up a run this afternoon. And given Burton's history, you can imagine the Twins not being too anxious to run him back out there a 2nd time in 1 day on a cold night.
Yeah, there's plenty of good arms out there to protect Burton if he's not needed today.
Burton out there.
Yep. Well, Perkins, I mean, let's see if hopefully the Twins have a save opportunity. See if Perkins can pick up maybe a 7th save.
Casey Fiend available out there. Josh Renicky fouled back.
And somewhere there's Ryan Presley saying, I'd like to get in the ball game too. Well, it's Swarzak right now, and he's done a good job.
Ten and a third innings for Swarzak on the year. Just 7 hits allowed and 1 earned run. 1 and 2. You'd like to win games like the Twins did this afternoon. They scored first, got a big 3-run home run. The starter went 7th. Setup guy pitched an 8th. His closer got the 9th. But to have a game like this where Mike Pelfrey seemed to struggle from the outset again. Starter doesn't even give you 5 innings. You get a long reliever who maybe kind of puts the clamps on the other team for a few innings. And you get a chance to get that big hit in the last 3 innings. Maybe steal one late.
That's all you want. And I think Swarzak in all 3 previous outings, he did get the win in Baltimore, but all 3 outings, he's given the club a chance because of putting some zeros on the board.
Hook to right and hit well. Does it have enough loft? Parmalee plays the pair beautifully, and he'll hold Dobbs to a single. Plays like that will be noticed in the dugout because Parmalee, remember last year he'd play some at first base and he'd have a game or 2 in the outfield, but here he's had every game out there in right field, and he played that like he has played in front of that right field wall for years.
Well, it's not that easy either because you have that limestone that just comes out like Brantley hit off of it earlier, and that one right there, he kind of watched the flight of the ball knowing that he cannot get to it, so he backpedals right there, plays the carom off the wall, and gets it back in and holds Dobbs to only a single.
Ruggiano, the hitter, he's 0 for 3. First hit against Swarzak. Ball 1. 10th hit for the Marlins. Goes after a high fastball and misses. Breaking ball laced to right field. Parmalee going to try to cut it off. Does. Fires it back into the infield. And he holds another Marlin hitter to a single and what could have been a double. But now first and third, one out here in the 7th.
Yeah, breaking ball left up right there. Ruggiano picking up his first hit, lining it into right center.
And now Brantley, who's already got a couple of doubles and 3 runs batted in.
See about line. Parmalee has to hustle over there, get it back in as Dobbs goes from first to third.
So he's able to cut it off, spin and fire, and that of course holds the runner at third, but just as importantly perhaps holding Ruggiano at first, and if Swarzak can get a ground ball off the bat of Brantley,
maybe
the double play is in order.
Yep.
Presley, you talked about he wanted to get into a ball game. He may get that chance.
He'd rather start an inning, but doesn't want to come into this situation. Hopefully Swarzak can get that two-seamer down and get a ground ball.
Brantley with a 2-run double, both well struck, and you saw the second one in the 5th inning. Just about made it over the limestone wall in right field.
He's knocked in 3 of the 5 runs.
Inside, ball 1. Foul back, 1-1.
Wow. That went flying over the dugout of the Twins.
And back onto the field.
Telling Ron Gardenhire, I'm sorry. Walking the padding off the dugout facing.
Now, if it was coming at you in slow motion like that, it would be easy to get out of the way, or
unless you move in slow motion.
That's true. Gardy looking over at Mike Redmond, and they're having an exchange about Terry Steinbach locked in on giving the signs here to Ryan Doman behind the plate. Base hit right field. 3 straight hits, and the Marlins get an insurance run. So Swarzak, who had set down 5 men in a row, now gives up 3 straight hits. Important insurance run for the Marlins.
And Brantley picking up another RBI, his 4th of the ball game on his 3rd hit.
And so the end comes quickly for Swarzak as he gives up 3 straight hits and will be taken out.
Yeah, that ball kind of came right back into the swing. Another good swing by Brantley. The Marlins take a 6-4 lead.
Swarzak comes out. Just had mentioned he had given up 7 hits all year, and then the Marlins go bing, bing, bing like that, and they're back up by 2, threatening to do more here in the 7th. get the next run. They've gotten one here in the 7th. They're back up by 2. MLB.com at bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Twins baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit twinsbaseball.com for details.
Well, Ryan Presley coming into the ballgame, making his 5th relief appearance. It's been 11 days for Presley to be on the main mound. So far, so good. 5 2/3 innings. Has given up 4 runs, but 4 unearned runs.
4 hits, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. Twins shortening the infield to double play depth with Valleca, the batter. 2 fly ball outs and a walk so far tonight for the Marlins shortstop. Breaking ball outside, ball 1. Dozen hits for the Marlins, 6 runs. Half swing, and he went. 1-1.
Presley, a Rule 5 pickup by the Twins from the Boston organization over the winter. 24 years old. We've seen him on a mound straight over the top. Fastball, curveball, occasional changeup.
Oh, 94. Cut the plate in half, 1 and 2. Sometimes teams will draft a guy in the Rule 5 and they'll try to hide him. That's the term some teams use. They'll just keep him on the roster, pick and choose their spots. The Twins did that with Johan Santana when they got him in the Rule 5 draft. I don't think the Twins are hiding Presley at all anymore. Fouled back. Mid-90s fastball with that angle that you talk about. And he more and more seems to be getting in critical situations like this.
Well, you know, you scout these young kids in a minor league. Sometimes they get lost in their organization. And last year, you know, he started in Single-A, then promoted to Double-A the middle of July. He actually pitched better in Double-A than he did in Single-A. And now he's at the major league level as a Rule 5 player.
1 and 2. Another check swing, no swing. Johan Santana's first year, his Rule 5 year with the Twins was 2000. He made 5 starts, 30 appearances, 2 and 3 with an ERA of 6.49. The Twins hit him because they wanted to keep him, but they had to keep him on the major league roster. 2 and 2 to Valleca. Foul fly into the seats. We're not trying to compare Presley to Santana, but the Twins just were carrying Santana not based on merit as much as they thought there was some potential there.
Yeah, I remember the next year they sent him down, and now bullpen coach Bobby Cuellar taught him that changeup, the circle changeup, and the rest is history for Santana. 2-time Cy Young Award winner in a Twins uniform.
See if Presley can get a strikeout here. 2 and 2. 94, 95, 94. And Valleca is able to get a piece of that one.
He's got a good curveball. He's thrown 1 breaking ball, and that was a little bit low, but you need a strikeout here.
Breaking ball hammered over the head of Escobar. And a base hit and another Marlin run. They lead now by 3. 4 straight singles here in the 7th inning.
Valleca picking up his first RBI on his first hit.
The Twins bullpen springing a few leaks here today. 1 run this afternoon and now 2.
Not a bad pitch right there. Just stayed up just a bit. Good break on it, but credit Valleca by going down and hitting it sharply over the leaping Escobar.
13 hits now for the Miami Marlins. 4 consecutively here in the 7th. Doman will go to the mound to talk to Presley.
Well, the runner at second base, Ryan Doman. Of course, Joe Mauer does most of the catching, so making sure they're on the same page. What sign are they using with the runner at second?
Mahoney with a pair of hits. Big swing and a miss. Presley, something off the fastball there, clocked at 91. Another foul ball, 2 strikes. See if Presley can strike out the number 8 batter. Ball, and it's fouled off the Twins dugout.
Maloney getting a chance to play for the Marlins last year with the Baltimore Oriole organization. He did come up and played in only 2 ball games, had 4 major league at-bats. But 4 hits so far in first 2 games for Maloney.
Foul the other way. As quick as the ball gets on the hitter, at least velocity wise, Presley had a tough time getting swings and misses here tonight.
Well, it's pretty straight. I mean, it's hard, but it's straight. Yeah. They'll come right at you, though.
Marlins adding 2 important runs so far here in the 7th. Still only 1 out in the inning. One and 2. 13 pitches, 10 strikes for Presley.
We talked about it before, mainly, you know, in that Boston organization, Presley was always a starter. Then they moved him up to Double-A, put him in the bullpen, and that's what the Twins saw. Hey, this guy might be a good reliever.
Fouled off a foot.
Yeah, that curveball.
Did well in the Arizona Fall League. The Twins feeling that the bullpen was a strength last year, but still needed improvement, and took the chance on Presley, hoping for a lot of the returning characters from last year to step things up. Casey Fiend has. Alex Burnett has not. Burnett on his 3rd organization this year. He just recently was called up by the Baltimore Orioles. Driven foul. Spent a little time in the Toronto Blue Jay organization.
Well, Presley throwing strikes, 15 pitches, 12 for strikes. One out, I'd like to get that double play ball.
They're trying to get that in the Ruggiano at bat. Fly ball, left center field. It's lifted to deep left center, and Arcia with the catch on a warning track. Retreating to tag is Brantley. He'll try for 3rd, and he is out. Brantley played it halfway, then tried to tag, and it's a catch by Arcia, and there's your double play, just not on a ground ball.
Not the way I pictured it, but it worked.
3-run lead. Haven't had that since, I guess, the second inning when they had a 4-run lead. AT&T is the sponsor of our Twitter poll. Today we start a new question for the week. Who will lead the Twins this season in runs batted in? Let's hope they pick up a few here in the late innings. RBI Willingham, RBI Mauer, RBI Morneau are the hashtags. We'll give you the final results of the poll Sunday. It's 70-plus degree weather when we wrap up our series and homestand with the Texas Rangers. Twins have some left-handed batters that are going to hit here, and they'll be facing a left-handed pitcher. In fact, the only lefty out of the Marlins bullpen.
That'll be Mike Dunn coming out of the bullpen, the guy that came up with the Yankees in 2009, also spent a little bit of time with the Atlanta Braves in his 3rd season with the Marlins, making his 11th appearance. Very good, 2.16 ERA, 9 strikeouts in 8 1/3 innings.
The Twins have tried to answer throughout the night. They've had opportunities to get this game tied up, even take the lead with a critical swing here or there. It hadn't happened yet. Now the deficit's 3 runs. Mauer has a pair of singles in his last 2 at bats. Mauer a lefty, Arcia a lefty, Morneau a lefty, the switch hitter Domet, and another lefty Parmalee, so it makes all the sense in the world for Mike Redmond to bring the lefty in here.
Yeah, done with a fastball, slider, and a changeup.
Ball 1. Twins were walked into a threat in the 6th. Escobar and Hicks each took a walk. Carroll followed with an RBI single, but then Dozier bounced into a threat-ending double play. 2-0. Twins face Fernandez this afternoon. Nolasco tonight. The best starting pitcher for the Marlins this year has been Kevin Slowey. Twins may face him in June when they go to Miami. Sharply hit, knocked down, caught by Valaika, and a nice play retiring Mauer on a sharp ground ball.
Yeah, Valaika, very nice play right there. Mauer hitting it sharply right up the middle, and Valaika looks like he wrestled that ball right there. He dove for it, kind of smothered it, and then got up quickly to retire Joe. Boy, that ball was laced up the middle. But Valaika right there, good strong throw, gets the first out.
So 1 down, and now Arcia, who's reached twice, once on an error, once on a hit. The hit, a gift hit, a little pop fly to short left that neither Valaika nor Conklin caught. Ball 1. Swing and a foul. As Arcia is exposed more and more by the Twins here on an everyday basis, for however long he's up here, these at-bats will go a long way toward measuring him as a 21-year-old, how he handles left-handed pitching at this level. Valaika with a nice play going the other way. He's taken a couple of hits away from the Twins here in the 7th.
That's a good at-bat right there by the lefty Arcia right there. Just, breaking ball away, just kind of went with it, but Valaika making another nice play.
Just Arcia's second at-bat against a lefty. So 2 outs here in the 7th, and that'll bring up Morneau. Morneau this year 3 for 16 against lefties. Big swing at a 94-mile-per-hour fastball.
I think you mentioned in his last at-bat, he is just missing that pitch.
And a check swing foul, 0-2. The great hitters, and Justin has been a great hitter, realize this. Harmon Killebrew, whenever I would be around the batting cage and a hitter would ask Harmon. Somewhere within his advice would be one of Harmon's favorite sayings: keep swinging. Keep swinging.
You're eventually going to catch up to it. Don't swing at that one.
No. But people would ask Ted Williams, and he would say, well, get a good pitch to hit. He'd always include that. And Harmon's little tidbit of advice was keep swinging. Don't get caught with the bat on your shoulder. And Morneau keeps swinging, and he misses. And Dunn has a 1-2-3 7th inning. The 2013 season. You can get fed and entertained starting at just $13. Sports Authority value pack Tuesdays and Thursdays include a ticket, hot dog, and a soda. And that and other specials available every day of the week. Find out more by calling 800-33-TWINS or visiting twinsbaseball.com. You know, our good friend Tommy Hutton, who does what you do for the Twins, only he does it for the Marlins. He made a point today of going out to get a Cuban sandwich here at the ballpark. It's one of the concession items also in the Marlins ballpark. And I told him it wasn't just a Cuban sandwich. It was a Tony Oliva Cuban sandwich.
He did that because Jose Fernandez is from Cuba, and he wanted he actually tweeted that there's a Cuban sandwich here in Minnesota after Tony Oliva.
Another gentleman from Cuba in the ballpark here tonight. Hall of Fame broadcaster, fellow Ramirez, one of the broadcasters for the Marlins. He does the Spanish broadcast for Miami.
A very nice man. He told me he went into the Hall of Fame in 2001.
The English radio broadcaster, Dave Van Horn, went in your class a few years ago.
Yes. Very nice man, both of them. Very nice men.
Two Hall of Fame broadcasters, and people at home are stuck listening to you and me.
I know, it's not right.
Liner to left, another base hit. Solano with a single, and the Marlins are piling on the hits. And they're getting a lot of hits against the Twins bullpen. It's been pretty stingy in that regard.
Yeah, another high fastball right there. Not a lot of movement. Solano laces it in the left field.
So Presley will pitch with a man aboard. Coughlin will bat. He's 1 for 4.
Every starter in the lineup has at least one hit for the Marlins.
Popped up center field. Dozier out. Hicks in. Hicks with the catch. 1 away. And Presley will go after Polanco. just over a year ago, the Marlins opened up their new ballpark. And it was a miserable year. They had very high hopes at the start of last year. Invested heavily in the free agent market. Brought in Reyes, brought in Burley.
They ended up going 69-93.
Roughly the same record as the Twins. And then they purged the payroll.
Well, they kind of did that after they won the World Series in '97. '98, they dumped a lot of salary, a lot of new faces. They actually just won a franchise low 54 ball games in '98. I think, Mike Redmond knew what he was getting into. You get the opportunity to manage at the major league level. He's always been a very patient man. And
runner goes, ground ball hit to Escobar, steps on the bag too late, still gets the out at first. So with the runner going, the Marlins stay out of the double play, 2 down.
But Mike Redmond, he's trying to get these guys motivated, and he's a good motivator. He learned from some good people, Jim Leland, Jack McKeon, along with Gardy. Gives Gardy a lot of credit.
Well, the Marlins twice, they've had 3 ownership groups there. In 2 cases, there's been an issue and a barrier between the fan base and the ownership. And I bring it up, not that I know anything about the situation down there, just what I've read and what every other baseball fan has read. But I bring it up because we've had that in the past here in Minnesota, fairly or not. Late in the Griffith ownership with the Twins, there seemed to be a barrier between the fans of the upper Midwest and the ownership. And as long as that exists, it can get tough for a franchise. Well,
there are a lot of promises made in Miami, as far as I know, about putting good money into it. And they did last year. They got a new stadium, and it just it didn't work out. Now you got the owner that just kind of got rid of all their players, good players.
Another weird-looking swing.
I would have to say marquee players.
Right. And the stadium just seems to be the inflammatory point with a lot of the fans. That it's a largely public subsidized ballpark.
Oh, we were told today they went from 15,000 season ticket holders last year to 5 this year. So a lot of fans were upset.
And it's a base hit. It'll produce another run for the Marlins. And they lead now by 4.
And Stanton, who came into this ball game just with 1 RBI, picks up his 2nd of the ball game.
A couple of balls right on the button here tonight. And Dobbs will hit. Well, Twins bullpen has been outstanding this year, but on this day, on April 23rd, uncharacteristically, the Twins relief corps has given up 4 earned runs.
Well, I think you have to go back to the starter, Mike Pelfrey, just the way the game was going. And, Swarzak, he pitched very well for the first inning and a third. Then he ran into trouble, 3 straight base hits. Now, you got a young kid, Presley, that, pitched at single A, double A, just trying to get his feet wet here. I think what we've seen is the fastball is pretty straight, doesn't have a lot of movement. The curveball he's missed a little bit.
Fly ball to left, and Garcia comes in. And the inning, another run added on by the Marlins. They've doubled up the Twins so far here tonight, 8-4.
The bottom of the 8th. Welcome back to Target Field. Be sure to stay with us after the game for a Twins Live post-game show presented by CenturyLink. We'll talk about the Marlins bats heating up in the second half of the doubleheader today. We'll also talk about the impact of Eduardo Escobar on this Minnesota Twins team. And of course, we'll also hear from manager Ron Gardenhire. All that and more on Twins Live. Guys?
Well, thank you, Jamie. Yep. Twins find themselves down by another run at 8-4. They'll come to the plate here in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, Mike Dunn on the mound for his second inning of work. Got a quick 1-2-3 inning in the 7th inning.
Strike one, or ball one rather, to Ryan Doman. Two and 0. Doman, Parmalee, and Escobar. Escobar reached all 3 times. He'll hit third this inning. Sharply hit on a fair ball. Doman will round first and try for second. And here is the throw. Doman with another double. He hooked that ball sharply right over the bag.
And a good slide into second base. Ball got out to left field very quickly. Ryan Doman hustling around the bag. It looked like it was going to be a bang throw. The throw came a little bit on the infield side, so Ryan Doman slid on the outfield side, grabbed onto that bag. Gave it a good firm feel to it right there. A lot of times you'll see runners do that and then slip off the bag, but Ryan Doman grabbed that bag. He wrestled with it.
Parmalee's hit the ball fairly hard 3 times, 1 to each outfielder. 3 outs. Not much to show for an otherwise good night at the plate, and he takes strike 1 on the outside corner. So the left-hand hitting Parmalee, and then switch hitters Escobar and Hicks with no activity in the Marlin bullpen. It'll be Dunn out there to try to work through the 8th inning. Marlins also have big right-hander John Roush, who can be used late in the ball game. A little number up the line, and it'll triple foul. 2 strikes. It's a Subway in-game box score, and the Twins have been looking and walking uphill pretty much all night long.
Yeah, Joe Mauer, a couple hits. He picked up an RBI. Escobar, good night at the plate. A triple, single. He scored a couple runs. Lower part of the lineup has done well. The middle part, so-so. Doman just got the double.
Escobar on deck, trying to keep that left hand warm. Parmalee hoping to grind through another at bat. Seems like he's been behind all night long in the count. He's come back to battle to work 3 full counts in his 3 prior at bats. See what he can get done with this 0-2 count. 1-2.
That's the bad part of baseball sometimes, like you mentioned. You know, Parmalee's had 3 really good at bats. He's made good contact, but then you look at the line score, it's 0 for 3.
One and 2. A take on a high fastball.
Good take right there.
You know, for a young hitter who's still making a first impression, you want to get hits, but you don't want to give away at bats, and Parmalee certainly has not done that tonight.
No, he has not.
And he finally strikes out.
A hard-breaking ball, and Dunn picks up his second strikeout.
And now Escobar kind of ignited what offense the Twins have had here tonight, scoring a couple of runs, a couple of hits. He's reached all 3 times. I think beyond that, I don't think anyone's expecting him to hit 400 for the Twins this year. I think everybody feels comfortable when the ball is hit to him in the field. anything pop out of the glove. He makes all his throws, and some very nice throws from the hole at shortstop.
I think that's what the Twins knew they were getting when they traded for him and Hernandez. You know, Escobar didn't get a lot of playing time for Chicago, but he was highly respected by everybody in that organization.
1 strike. He, frankly, had no place to play in Chicago. They had Ramirez at short, Beckham at second, while they ran a bunch of people through third base last year. I don't think anybody figures Escobar's an everyday third baseman.
Yeah, third baseman's a position you always kind of want some power out of that position.
Well, maybe he does want to be an everyday third baseman.
He's showing some power.
Bang one off the fence in right center field in the 4th inning. He's got an opposite field home run as a left-handed batter. 1-1. Twins need a string of hits and walks like the Marlins have had here in the late innings.
Good swing right there.
You know, we didn't see enough of him last year. Last year it seemed at times he was up there and almost as if the bat was going to get knocked out of his hands, but he takes his rips.
Yeah, he really does. Last year with the White Sox, hit only .217 in 138 plate appearances. Knocked in only 9 runs. But, you know, change is good sometimes. He's come over here. He really made a very nice impression so far.
Well, he loves getting hits against the White Sox, and he's collected a bunch of them. On the basis of that alone, I think he's going to be a very popular Twin. 1-2. Great knockdown at short by Valleca, and Escobar will have his 3rd hit. He's reached all 4 times. I don't think Doma would have tried to score anyway. The Twins down by 4. But Escobar again hits the ball sharply, and he may be hitting .500 by night's end.
Well, breaking ball, it kind of stayed right there, came into that swing. Escobar hits it solid. Valleca does a good job. And you can see where the left fielder was. He was kind of, you know, you play Escobar in a little bit. So runners at the corners for the Twins and 1 out.
Aaron Hicks is 0 for 10 as a right-handed batter. And yet it is his dominant. It was his primary side before he started switch hitting as a young teenager. So we'll see if he can come up with his first hit, a big one here in the 8th inning with 2 men aboard. Foul back. His hitting coach is acknowledged on the air with us. And right now, Hicks, although he gets more repetition from the left side, Tom Bernansky feels that the right side is his best side. Josh Willingham available off the bench. And if Hicks can get a base hit here, Willingham would represent the tying run. He may hit for Carroll. In the dirt, 1-1. Activity in the Marlin bullpen.
Chad Qualls warming up.
In the event the Twins do move Willingham off the bench, with the number 9 hitter Carroll due up next. 1-1 to Aaron Hicks. Driven to right field, and it's got some carry. Stanton retreats near the warning track. Makes a nice play. It's a sacrifice fly for Hicks. A run batted in, but he doesn't reach. So Willingham would not represent the tying run. Pretty well hit ball by Hicks.
Yeah, he hit it well right there. Stanton having to go back to catch it. Hicks gets an RBI, his 5th on the season, as Doman scores.
So the Twins got the run back that the Marlins scored in the top of the inning. See if they can build off of that here with Carroll. Man at first and 2 out.
Jamie knocked in a run in his last at bat in the 6th inning with a base hit to right field.
Down and in, ball 1. Not many witnesses here tonight, but the Twins are trying to steal one from the Marlins in the late innings anyway.
Announced crowd of 23,300.
I believe the way this works, that was the number of tickets sold for last night's game. Tonight's game that's being played was the scheduled game for last night. 1-1 to Carroll.
You don't think there's 23,000 people here?
Unless they're all sitting above us. Time called. See in the lower area.
Call it a sparse crowd.
Sparse crowd. But again, we're not showing the upper deck above us. There might be 20,000 people sitting up there. We just can't see them. See, now down that way, there aren't that many, but right above us. Carroll takes a strike, 1-2. To extend the inning and get Dozier up as the tying run. One and two. Foul back. Talking about Dozier and what a great job he's done playing second base. That was one area of concern last year in the Twins infield. That's why Carroll got to play so much. He spent a lot of time at second, short, and third base for the Twins. 2-2. Good take by the veteran. Dozier hoping for a chance here. Carroll reaches. Dozier would represent the tying run. Ooh. Carroll hit on the wrist, or did it hit the bat? They're saying a foul ball, I believe. Carroll tried to do what Carlos Gomez did the other day when the ball hit the knob of the bat, and Gomez didn't even sell it very well, but he still was awarded first base.
Well, the breaking ball right here. And it did hit right on the knob of the bat. Carroll, kind of watch his reaction right here. Hits the knob.
Carroll tried.
Yeah, he tried.
And
Lance Barksdale said no, home plate umpire.
And then the strikeout ends the inning. One back for the Twins in the bottom of the eighth. It's a 3-run run, and Miami leads. 3 again as we go to the 9th inning. And here's our updated look at the totals to our AT&T Twitter poll this week. Your opinions as to who will lead the Twins in runs batted in. And most of you think Josh Willingham. Kind of hard to argue against that. He almost had a chance, I think, to step up to the plate and drive in some runs in the 8th inning.
Well, Pedro Hernandez, who you mentioned, scheduled to start Saturday, gets an inning here on Tuesday, making just his 3rd appearance. He has 1 start and 1 relief appearance so far, 9 1/3 innings. He's walked 3, struck out 4.
Century Link to what's next. The on-deck hitter, Rob Brantley, who has 3 hits and some important hits, driving in 3 runs. Brantley, the #1 catcher for the Marlins. Miguel Olivo, the backup. Justin Ruggiano will face Hernandez. We've seen Eduardo Escobar reach 4 times on 3 hits here tonight, play a good game at short. The other part of the receiving end for the Twins in the Liriano trades on the mound now. Hernandez's next start has been moved up a couple of days to Saturday. He was originally not scheduled to pitch until Monday in Detroit, but with the, what do we call it? What was it? Was it snowing out last night? It was
cold snow. Yeah, I'd have to say snow. There was snow right around 7 o'clock.
And we were just colded out, I guess, Friday in Chicago, right? And rained out at the end of the Angel series. Look at it, there's still snow here at Target Field. 1-2, and not 2-2. At any rate, because of what happened last night, Twins have penciled Hernandez in to start against the Rangers on Saturday. Two and two. High fly to center. And Hicks with the catch, 1 away.
Now, Hernandez made 1 start. That's when he got called up, but when Cole DeVries was put on a disabled list back on April 7th in Baltimore. He pitched 5 innings, gave up 3 runs, got a no decision. Twins ended up winning that ball game 4-3. Then his relief appearance came on the 12th, so it's been 11 days for Hernandez to be on the A mound.
Here's Brantley. Way out in front of the breaking pitch. Liam Hendricks had a decent start last night, kind of struggled toward the end of his start for Rochester. Another slow breaking ball. Swing and a miss at 73. Another swing and a miss at 71.
Well, Hernandez, just 24 years old, made 1 start for the White Sox last year in the middle of the summer.
I meant to ask Robin Ventura about Hernandez on Sunday, and I didn't spend as much time with Robin as I would have liked, but I remember his comments about Hernandez when he made that start. The numbers weren't good, but he said he reminded him a little bit of Wilson Alvarez, who had a great career with the White Sox and then later with the Marlins. 1-2. On the ground, hit to Dozier. 2 down. And that'll bring up Paleka. I think what the Twins liked about Hernandez, even though he was kind of pressed into duty in Baltimore, is he gave the Twins a chance to win, and I think they were intrigued with the notion of having another left-hander in the rotation. Or shall I say having a left-hander in the rotation?
Well, now Scott Diamond.
Scott Diamond's back there now.
Right.
But you've got 2 lefties in the rotation now. and 2 lefties out of the bullpen in Dunsing and Perkins. But at the time, Diamond wasn't quite ready to jump into the rotation yet at this level.
Well, you have a young man, Hernandez from Venezuela. You look at his minor league numbers, very good. 33 and 15 in 66 starts. All those coming with the Padres and White Sox organizations. There's a good pitch right there. He's done a good job of changing speeds. Pretty good curveball. Change speeds. He's got a good idea what he's doing out there.
I don't know if that was a changeup, but it came across at 80 miles per hour. And we've seen something as low as 71 and a fastball that can get into the upper 80s.
Got a little sink on that pitch right there at 82.
So he fell behind 2-0, and he's come back to even the count with off-speed stuff. Criticisms of Liam Hendricks was his unwillingness at times to use his off-speed stuff. Now you got a guy replacing him in Hernandez. That's what he features. He can spin the ball this way, he can spin it that way.
Well, Liam just needed to go down and learn how to pitch a little bit, and then hopefully he'll go down to AAA and do well, and maybe he'll be back up here soon.
Off the end of the bat, base hit to left center field. Arcia spins and fires. And Malaika has another hit with 2 outs in the 9th.
Malaika picking up his second hit of the ball game. And the 16th for the Marlins. They came into this ball game hitting only .211 as a ball club.
And it started early with 3 hits in each of the first 2 innings. And 10 since. Here's Mahoney, single and a double, and a deep fly to left that was eventually turned into a double play. Ball 1. And now 2-0. Sure won't overpower you, will he?
No, he's got to hit his spots and change speeds.
17 pitches, 9 strikes for Hernandez.
Watermelon. There's a good pitch right there. Now again, there's that not overpowering but great location. Mahoney, I'm sure looking fastball, but good fastball down in the strike zone. Outer half of the plate.
Three and 1 now, with Hernandez working through the bottom of the Marlin batting order. Popped up center field, and Hicks with the catch to end it. We'll see if the Twins can steal one in the bottom of the 9th. They're down by 3. Twins scoring 5 runs in trailing tonight. They scored 4 runs on a win this afternoon. Problem's been the Marlins, who picked up 16 hits, 8 runs.
Marlins woke up here in game 2. Steve Cishek coming in. The Marlins have only 1 save, and Cishek has that in 2 save opportunities. Underarm type of delivery. Cishek in his 4th season with the Marlins. Last year saved 15 games in 19 save opportunities.
The world happened to Brantley. He stepped on the plate and slipped as he was trying to throw the ball to second base. He ended up on the seat of his pants.
Yeah, be careful. I've seen that before. You know, catcher, somebody watch your groin and you can watch he just tripped. He didn't even get close to the plate. Mike Redmond will have fun with that.
After the game, the Marlins fly home. And pretty good bet that Brantley will hear about that a time or 2 on the flight. Brian Dozier will lead off the 9th. Saw Cishek in spring training and made comparisons to Pat Neshek, who didn't get a chance to close games for the Twins. But kind of the same unorthodox delivery.
I guess if your name ends with a EK, you have to throw.
That way. 1 strike to Dozier. 3 hits this afternoon, 0 for 3 tonight. Swing and a foul. And Brantley has his mask peeled off. Twins potentially with 5 left-handed batters lined up behind Dozier. He'll try to fight his way out of an 0-2 hole here. Mauer, Arcia, Morneau, Doman, Parmelee. And then beyond that, Escobar and Hicks, I suppose, too. Main thing is need some base runners here for the middle of the lineup. 2 strikes. Checked his swing. Did he? They're not even going to appeal. They do appeal. 1-2. Ooh. Pretty close.
Very close.
1-2. Popped up. Foul ball into the seats. All the numbers for Cishek pretty good last year. Of course, a year ago, Heath Bell was going to be closing games for the Marlins. That didn't work out very well. Off the plate, 2-2.
Well, you see the breaking ball that he throws from there. It's a big sweeping slider. Yeah, last year 68 relief appearances. Very good 2.69 ERA, but he was 5-12 out of that bullpen.
Chopper up the middle. Valleca has it. Fires over to Mahoney, and the first out comes on the ground here in the 9th inning. That'll bring up Mauer.
Mauer, a couple hits in the ball game and 4 at-bats, an RBI single in the 3rd, and then a base hit in the 5th.
And strike 1. Mauer caught this afternoon when hitless as the designated hitter has a pair of singles. One and one. Long day of baseball. Twins have struggled for the last week and a half getting 1 game in, and they're playing 2 tonight.
No, Dick, I think, if you look at the history of doubleheaders, I think Gene Mock told me many, many moons ago that, doubleheaders about usually split like 70%, or, split 1 team wins, 1 team, wins. So it's tough to win doubleheaders, both games.
That's what was so impressive about the Royals sweeping a doubleheader at Fenway Park the other day. After losing a game late on Saturday, that emotional game at Fenway Park, and then the Royals come back and win 2 Sunday in Boston. 3-1 to Mauer. Garcia will follow, and then Morneau, Doman, so on and so forth. And Mauer takes a walk, so there's a base runner, and the Twins need a bloop and a blast. And it'll be Morneau representing the tying run if Garcia can reach here. Garcia with a single and 4 trips. Big 3-run home run this afternoon. The biggest swing of the bat in a 4-3 Twins win. Strike 1. Garcia's drawn 1 walk. His hit today was a little pop fly that should have been caught by either the shortstop or the left fielder. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Good fastball there at 92. Good location. So Cechek getting ahead. 0-2.
One and 2. Fastball blows him away. 2 down.
Yeah, 4 straight fastballs, all in the low 90s.
Now Morneau trying to keep the game alive for Doman. And down the middle a strike. Or should I say on the outer half of the plate for a strike. It wasn't down the middle. Mauer goes. Marlins don't care. Defensive indifference allowing him to take second base. 1-1 to Morneau. Fouled away, 1-2. The Twins are down to their last strike. Marlins started this road trip in Cincinnati, losing 3 out of 4. They're trying to head home late tonight with a 2-4 road trip. 1-2 to Morneau. Fouled away again. Another 1-2 to Morneau. Hit hard to left field. Coughlin's there, though, and it's a split of this split doubleheader with the Marlins beating the Twins 8-5 in the nightcap.
Well, the Marlins all of a sudden woke up in this ballgame. 16 hits, 8 runs on the board. I think as a ball club, they needed this victory to now to go home and hopefully win some ball games there.
The Twins' 5-game winning streak has come to a close. They'll have a day off tomorrow. Tom Hanneman hope to start another winning streak Thursday night against the Rangers.
Dick, thanks so much. The Twins